Sit back and relax while you listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and with my friend Dan, we plan to inform and entertain you everything miniature wargame related. On this GW Focus episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about the current news that's going on, like Warhammer Day. Now, on to the show. All right, Dan, how are you doing this Monday night as we still try to finagle a useful recording schedule?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's just, trying to survive. How you doing?
Not bad. I mean, it's too early in the week for there to be large problems, although there's already a large amount of work to do, and I will get to it at some point. I hope. Maybe I won't.
By saying that you're jinxing it. That's the problem right there. Why would you do that?
Jinxing it would mean that there's a chance I think I'll actually get it all done, and I do not. It's more of just, will I get enough of it done? So, but I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. So why don't we start with what have you been doing lately? It's been about a little bit over a week since we recorded.
Well, I finally finished all the nameplates, painted them, put them on the Custodies, all 300 of them, or 300 plus. I lost count, and they look amazing. I actually posted it for the first. So I posted it on the Reddit of Warhammer and Warhammer and the Warhammer 30K, them just Custodies, the subreddits, and
Yeah.
I didn't even know this happened, and it was really cool. I'm not gonna lie, but they actually pinned the post to the top of the Warhammer page, and then
the main
I know Warhammer, to the main subreddit of Warhammer, and then I posted on Instagram, and Warhammer Official actually liked the picture as well. So I was really happy about that. That put a smile on my face.
Very cool.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And we'll talk about the releases for Custodies later. But yeah, no, I'm pretty content with what I have. It's like the first time I feel complete.
But are you content with how many more nameplates you're going to need?
Oh, now I don't need that much.
We can wait on that part if you need to, but
no, I don't need that much more, thankfully. Because now it's the bulk of them already done. I built the army since 7th edition, right? 7th edition is when they first came out with that little box. So it's been 7th edition is 4 years old, right?
Honestly,
5 years old.
I'm not sure. I know I'm not good on the timeline of this
Yeah.
because I know wasn't that the one that was supposed to be a forever edition and then it lasted,
Yes, it was.
No time.
And then 8th edition happened. No, so they came out with a stupid little box in 7th edition. So I picked up 2 of those boxes, built it, never painted it, and I was like, whatever, they'll stay on the shelf. And then they came out with an army, and I just slowly built that army over 4 years to the point where it is today. And I'm never selling them because they're such a cool army. Stupid awesome, Anyway, that's just me.
I give you credit for that because as time has gone on, I'm always back and forth about selling armies. I've sold a variety of armies over time. I've sold all my 40K armies. I used to have a big orc army. I used to have a lot of demons. I had Blood Angels super, super long time ago. They're the first army I had. They were painted terribly. But I don't know. After a bit, I kind of look at it and say, well, if I'm not going to do anything with it, what am I keeping it around for? But you're keeping up with them. You're still playing them. You're still trying to use them. So, and
Exactly.
keep you interested.
Oh, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, I sold pretty much all my 40K armies and kept, my Custodies, which can be used for 40K or 30K. I sold all my 30K armies and kept Mechanicum, which ironically can be used for 30K and some for 40K, but not really. I have 1 Age of Sigmar army out of the 3 that I had. I kept my Battletech because that's just Battletech. And so I kept things that I knew I would never sell. And I would use, you know what I mean? So yeah.
So then you don't actually currently have anything to work on, really. Then you're kind of set.
I am the back to backlog 0 again. I'm back to backlog 0.
Well, that explains why you're doing more of your guild wars and all.
Yep, it's almost like there's a habit. There's a pattern. What about you? What have you been doing?
So I was able to. So normally Friday's the day to go out and play, Age of Sigmar 40K as well. But I just don't play 40K, but those type of games at the local store, Maplewood Hobby. So I I tried to finish up my 2 beast skewer kill bows. I was able to get those done before Friday. It took more hours than I would have thought, just because it's you got the big guy with the bow, you got another like pack of like hobgrots holding a container for the bolts, and then you got another little guy off to the side who I guess has a ratcheting device or whatever the hell he's got. Luckily it was all in pieces, but then that's 3 pieces each doing both at the same time because I can't be bothered when I'm done one. So went through that. So they're all done. Currently working on the Break a Boss on Meyer Brute Trogoth. To the point of doing his skin. I'm probably gonna do contrast on his skin. I'm thinking of a mixture of
Do
the
it.
I want to say it's the like Administratum style gray, and there's like an McCrag blue or ultramarine blue type contrast. So I'm gonna do the blue across the main parts. For the lighter portions, like parts of the arm or the belly, I'm gonna start mixing in some of the gray and try to do a transition between the two, and then I'll just highlight it up because I do like it. It's a fun model and all, but I don't want, to spend 12 hours or more painting this guy like I did with Titans. Because like for a Warlord Titan, those are 12 to 14 hours my paint scheme. I would like to be able to get these things done a lot faster because I also assembled I'm somewhat assembled on the Gopsprack model, but I got to figure out magnetization options for him. I don't think
Of
that'll be
course.
tough. That one should be pretty easy. And I've also spent part of it doing the Snatcher Boss and Sludgeraker Beast slash Swamp Boss Scumdrek, which the only difference is the head. I just chose the one I liked more. The only other difference is the upper half of the torso. Otherwise, they're identical models. Well, for the upper half of the torso, so I'm going to magnetize them. I don't know if I'd run Scumdrek, but I want to have the option as well. But in order to do that, so his legs come in 2 pieces, and there's a little gap in there. It's not
Okay.
quite big enough to fit the magnet I have, but I'm going to use my Dremel and kind of bore out a little hole and stick a magnet in there. And then I'm
Right.
just going to, again, use the Dremel, and I'm going to shave where his legs connect and his upper torso on both ends to try to be able to get enough space to have a magnet sit well. I'm kind of worried about drilling just purely into either side because I don't know if there's enough material. The body was kind of came as one, so you can't really tell. I mean, obviously the upper torso is hollow inside, but I don't know how thick that plastic is because I didn't put him together that way. So I want to try to do a little bit of both and see if I can get a pretty good seam on that. Because if I can, then I have a good option. Because like I said, especially with that one, I don't know which one I want to do, and I definitely am not going to buy another kit. I don't plan that, especially when the model's 300 some points. You wouldn't run 2,
Oof.
so no, yeah. So I'm going to magnetize him. I didn't do that yet because when I was getting ready to go and I Dremel outside because I don't want to do it in the house with the wife and the dog.
Yeah.
It was I asked Alexa, how soon will it be raining? Like when's the rain gonna happen? She's like, it'll rain in about 3 minutes. It's like, all right, I'll wait till next day. So I got to go back and do that still.
Okay. Doesn't sound bad though.
No, quite a bit of that. And then for Marvel Crisis Protocol, I assembled a few models and I started getting the paint down on Beast. So he's mostly painted. I probably need about another hour on that model entirely. Mostly for the non-metallic metals on the he's on like a scaffolding. So I really just need to do
Okay, this
that
is not
portion, then
bad.
he'll be done. No, no, no.
Okay.
It won't be bad, but I'm still not happy with my non-metallic metal that I do yet on everything. So it's going to take a bit, and I'm sure I won't be super happy with it at the end, but it's a learning process.
Yeah. I mean, to be
But
honest, like
hmm,
I just don't do non-metals anymore. I tried to do non-metals, and this is before I did Custodies. I tried to do
hmm,
non-metallic metals on the Mechanicum, and
yeah,
it was at a certain point I was just like, look, just do metals. It's just at a point I was just like, eh,
it depends on
yeah.
what in Marvel Crisis Protocol. I like to do the non-metallic metals because I don't think the metals just fit the look very well. So I do mine in a
Mhm.
comic style. So I do a lot of black lining, inking, and things like that. And
Okay.
one, if you can do it well, it does just look better in general because you can get a lot better metal look than you can with metallic paints. It is a lot more
Okay.
work, and it's a lot more um, blending and all of that. Like there's more involved in it. But if you can get it to work well, it does look better, I think, overall. And for that type of model, I think it works very well. Where GW, no, I use metal paints on those, and I think it looks fine. Same thing comes when you get to Infinity. I don't metals doesn't look good on Infinity. Non-metallic metals do,
Interesting.
or faux forms of it. Like if you're doing a weapon, you could always just, have it black, dry brush it with certain types of grays and all. It's not exactly non-metallic metal, but it gives the impression without all the work. I think
Well,
that
okay.
works well,
Okay.
but I don't like the look of metal paints on those type of miniatures.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense. Actually, I mean,
I
speaking of
don't think.
metal, by the way, I
Mhm.
was gonna say, I know I was helping one of my friends paint his
All those
Venoms for
Ravagers, right?
Dark.
Yeah,
Oh,
Venoms.
Venoms, yeah.
That's what it was.
And I think he introduced me to oh god, what was the company? They don't make it's the company. It was defunct now, but he had these metallic paints from from this company, and it was beautiful. Um,
Was
not to
Testers?
me, testers, yes. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh, those metals look so good. That copper was so delicious.
No, they always did good work, and I think the only thing they still produce is their dull coats and all. Dull coat and gloss coat. I think that's it.
Thank God. That's all I use. I
Yeah.
don't trust anything else.
No, I've never had a problem with it. I've never had to lather one of my models in olive oil yet,
Yep.
so I'm very happy.
Yeah, no, I once bought. This is not shade towards the company, but I once bought I think it was Army Painter, and
Hmm.
it destroyed. I actually had to throw it away and buy a new model. I was very upset. It was actually Janisha Kroll from Forge World. It's highly upset. It's like a $80 model, but the
Gotta use
model
that
just
olive oil.
no. It was. I tried.
Oh, okay.
It was ruined. It was legitimately actually ruined, unsavable. And I actually was like crying in my room. My wife was like shocked, but it hurt. It hurt. It
Ar-
hurt.
Army Painter does a good product, but their sprays are very temperamental. You
Hmm.
need the right distance, which is important, but some sprays like GW, I find if you want to overspray to a point of a problem with a GW spray, you've got to really go at it. You know, Army Painter, I find
Yeah.
it's very easy to overspray, or it's very, very temperature dependent and humidity dependent, where some other sprays are a lot more forgiving. So I know I use their gray for most of my priming now, and I like that one. But I've used their red in the past, and I guess the humidity was a little high, and I had it wreck models on me. Um, I've
Yeah.
had
It's
it
just
where you
painful.
get that, yeah, you get that crunchy look to it because it
Yep.
dries in the air because you're a little bit too far away when it's a little warm out. Very temperamental sprays, I find.
Yeah. And it sucks. It really does suck because you're like, at least at least if it's spray paint, it's at the beginning of the stages of the model, so it doesn't hurt as
Mhm.
much. But when it's at the end, and at least you can hopefully olive oil will save it. But if it doesn't, and you're just sitting there and you spent like hours on a model, and it's
Yeah,
just it's not going to get fixed. It's just, oh, I just
yeah, you put all
never
that
again.
time into it, and you're actually doing what
Yeah,
you're supposed to. You're protecting it, and then it just gets
yes,
messed up.
oh,
That's
yeah.
rough.
It was never again. All right, man,
So,
we're
have you
both.
played anything lately, or no?
No, but I am coming. There is a event coming up, a Thanksgiving, if you will, for
Okay.
30K. Ironically,
Oh,
30K, yeah. A Thanksgiving for 30K. It's the narrative event that we have. So, like I said, it's not a campaign. It's
yeah.
narrative, but it is kind of a campaign because it continues the story.
Mm,
So essentially, the loyalists think the loyalists won last time, but the game before the last one, the traitors basically ruined the atmosphere completely. That's why we
mm,
were fighting inside the hive to stop them from shutting off the fans, essentially.
yeah.
So now we're back out in the wastelands, but the wastelands are so toxic that even power armor will just melt, essentially.
They said it
So
was
the
what,
idea is
shredding and rending.
it's
Is that right?
shredding, rending, and shredding, rending, and dangerous terrain all at the same
Okay.
time. And the dangerous terrain is modified because normally you get an armor save if you roll a one. This one is no, you don't
Mhm.
get an armor save. If you roll a one, it's just
So,
dead.
so old dangerous terrain then. Got it.
Yes, like what fantasy? Yeah, fantasy dangerous
Yeah.
terrain
Well,
essentially, and
no.
that's
Dangerous Train used to be essentially it
oh
was an
really?
AP2 hit. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
If you go
I
back
don't
to
remember.
like fifth
Oh, I don't
edition,
remember that.
fifth edition, it
Oof.
was essentially counted as AP2. So you
Oh man, I
only
don't
got
remember that at
invuln
all.
saves. Yep.
But yeah, no. So it basically is if you have a troop choice or you have infantry, it has to take a transport. Other than
Mhm.
that, you take a tank or a walker, like a vehicle. And 30K is cool because there are certain. I'm not going to call them detachments, but that's essentially what they are that
Yeah,
modify
yeah.
your army list, right? So, for
Mhm.
example, you can take an armored spearhead detachment, which makes predators troops, like makes them scoring troops. So basically, some people are taking predators, rhinos, land raiders, knights. I know someone's bringing titans. It's gonna be a monster mess, and it's gonna be great.
Nice.
I'm
Okay,
bringing
so
I
that
myself
the
am bringing
Thanksgiving
yeah
event is that then.
yeah so
Okay.
I'm bringing three three Galatis, which are the shield and
Mhm.
sword contemptors, three Achilles, which are the spear contemptors, three Telemons, which are the fat, huge, make a Redemptor look small Custodies dreadnoughts, and
Mhm.
uh, and then I'm bringing sister squads in their transports, in their
Okay.
little Dune Shahalud transports.
Now when is this? This is what,
This
November or
is
something, right?
November. Hold on, I got it right here. November 13th. No, so it's
Okay.
next week actually. Whoops. I didn't even. Whoops.
So yeah, it's
Probably should
not
have.
this weekend, the following weekend.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's like a sort of tickets have been sold out for super long time for that event.
Oh yeah. The tickets sold out. I think within a day, and there was like
Okay.
30 spots. And yeah, no, they sold out in a day because people. But the problem is people from New York. Well, not the problem, but people from New York come. We always have this guy from Boston that comes in.
Wow.
Um, we have people from Pennsylvania come in. Yeah, no, the thing about 30K, like I said, it's a large and also small community, right? It's large enough that you can find a game if you look online, but it's small
Mhm.
enough that if you're like an asshole, no one's going to play with you in the area
Yeah.
because your name will be known. So that's what I
It
like about it.
it also sounds small enough where it's a real travel game where like if you want to go play 40K, you can find a local store. You don't have to go anywhere. For 30K, it sounds like
Exactly.
you either might have to travel or I mean, I'm not saying this might be a great event and they're coming down because of that, but I'm sure part of it's also because like this is a spot where they can find a bunch of people playing. I know like Infinity
Oh
is
yeah, no,
similar.
no.
Infinity is a
So
travel game.
is it? Oh, I see. I no. So
Yeah.
30K. The cool thing is there's actually. So I don't travel. I'll put it that way because I have a kid. But
Mhm.
no, 30K had an event. So it's the same group of like, well, not the same group of guys, but we there's the same group of like club, if you will. But there
Mhm.
was an event. There were three events. Sorry, that just happened that I didn't go to. One was in upstate New York where
Mhm.
they reenacted the siege of Prospero on, a, on I think a 12-foot table.
Oh wow.
And
Big
there
table.
was it was the siege of Prospero, um, which for by the way for the listeners who don't know that's where Magnus or the Thousand Suns got invaded by the Space Wolves and the
Cool.
Custodies to arrest Magnus for
And
his
the Sisters of
crimes.
Silence.
Yes, and the Sisters of Science.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, so that was that. I know there was another game in Boston um, where there was a 30K event, and there was one in Pennsylvania. So those
Mhm.
happened within the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I just don't travel that far, but
Yeah.
you could, yeah. That's what I was saying. They're local, and they're usually once a month, which is not bad.
No. If anyone listening is local to the area and wants to play, I'm sure you can always find, even if they're not doing one of the events, there's probably people around if you go to say,
Oh,
the
absolutely,
web page, your website and stuff like that. This is all out of what Mythicos,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, Mythicos, or even just if you look on Facebook, I know the Facebook, but if you look on Facebook and you just type in Warhammer 40,000 New Jersey,
Hmm.
that's the group, or Northeast Warhammer, that's another group. You'll find a bunch of people with games, and we also have our little Facebook messaging group as well. But yeah, no,
Hmm.
you will find anyone in the tri-state area, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. You absolutely can find multiple people to play if you ever want to play 30K.
Very cool. So I actually still do get out and about every night. We'll see if I get out this week. And my wife's got a huge show. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I did get out. At Red Seal Gaming, we played some Marvel Crisis Protocol. We've been doing that on Wednesday nights. Overall, I mean, the community there is growing, and they're doing it most nights in all actuality. I know there's people there playing tonight and all these other times, but we were there Wednesday. Played a game of that, but the hope is soon I'll be recording with some of those guys to discuss more of Marvel Crisis Protocol. So since it's a little more GW focused, I want to keep the focus a little bit more towards that. On Friday, though, did play another game of Age of Sigmar, still doing 1,000 points because that's what we got painted. Yeah, it's not a requirement in no way in the store. If someone comes in, they want to play and it's unpainted, no one cares. But
Yeah,
to
no.
me, I only want to play with what I've painted because that motivates me to paint more. Where if I just played with everything, I'm gonna get to the point I'm just not gonna stop painting. So played against a Khorne army. I forget the exact name they give them, but essentially a pure Khorne army. So I brought, I had my kill boss on his Great Gnashtooth. I gave him again another Amulet of Destiny or whatever is the 5-up ward save. I gave him the Warlord trait. I think it's like, I forget the name. It's like a Slippery Git or something like that. Essentially, I can before we determine who goes first, I can take one of my units and I can redeploy them as long as they're outside of 9 inches of your army, anywhere on the board that I want. So I had him. I took for the first time, although it didn't help me, I Merknob with Belcher Banner.
Okay.
So I was going against Khorne. Khorne has one main thing about them: no spells. That makes sense. That why would they have spells? No wizards. So the main ability on this Belcher Banner guy, one, if he gets within 3 inches, he might be able to do a couple mortal wounds. Cool. His main ability is if someone was within 12, one of my units is within 12, and you target them with a spell on a 5-up, I ignore the spell. And it works on endless spells as well. Of course, I built my list and then turned out I was playing against Khorne, so he just kind of hung out. That's okay.
Well, Khorne has endless spells. They have prayers. They have prayers that are basically.
It doesn't work on prayers. Prayers and spells are not the same. Yeah. And he didn't take endless spells. Like, yeah, if he would have taken one, it would have happened. But he didn't take any endless spells. Had a Swamp Collar Shaman. I gave him the Black Pit because I love the idea of it, although it doesn't really help too much. Hasn't much lately. A thing of Gut Rippers. I had a 6 strong because that's all I own right now. I'm going to get more very soon. But 6 strong of the Manskewer Bolt Boys. And I had a kill bow because I had 2 of them painted up. I brought 1 of them. I didn't have the points for the second. And a unit of Hobgrots because they filled out 1,000 points and they're good for nothing but filling out points. And sitting on back objective, they sat on my back objective. It comes to my mind now that I absolutely should have written down what our mission was. I do not have it in front of me. Essentially, the mission was we had an objective in the middle. 12 inches, essentially end of our deployment zone, or about 12 inches. The deployment zones now are weird the way they do it. And then 2 other objectives essentially off to the sides a bit. Your own was worth 1. Having 1 in the middle was worth 2. And having the opponent's was worth 4.
Okay.
So we did that. He had a Bloodthirster. Now, there are 3 types of Bloodthirsters. I personally do not know which type it was. In a moment, when I tell you, you will see why it does not matter what type it was. But I personally don't know. I forgot they had different types. He had a Bloodsecrator, which those guys are good. Those guys are really good. Do you have any idea what a Bloodsecrator does?
Yes. Is that the guy with the whip? Or if I'm not, no, it's the guy with the banner. This guy with the banner, I think.
Yeah, he's the big dude with the banner.
I used to run him with my Beast of Chaos.
Yeah. He gives +1 to the attacks of anyone wholly within 16 inches, which is a great range. 16 inches. That means if he's in the middle of the board, he's good. And he has now I don't know enough about the army to be 100% of why this is, but essentially if you take certain like sub factions in there, you are told what artifact you get. The artifact he had on him was you save cannot be modified. So he's a 3-up save, but cannot modify. He's a 3-up save, 5 wounds, but so his and obviously I have things that round, but none of that matters. So that's pretty good. He had 2 units of Blood Reavers, which are essentially the guys, the just the
The
normal
mooks.
guys. Yeah. Which they have a whole lot of things like they can get more attacks if they're close to different totems. They can get rerolls because they have two hand weapons. They can get pluses to causing wounds if they're with near objectives and all kinds of stuff. So they don't start out that impressive, but when they start getting like reasonably cheap and when they start getting 3 attacks and they're hitting pretty well, they can do a lot. He had a unit of Blood Warriors, which are essentially just, you know, your regular warriors, the armored up guys. Which when you kill them, if they die during the close combat phase, they still get the swing.
Okay.
And he had a unit of Blood Crushers as well. We both. I had one drop deployment. I forget if his was one drop deployment. He might have had one of his special types, but one drop deployment. I win the roll off. So I'm gonna drop first because I want to be able to control going first. There's a big rock. I lay all my stuff out. He puts his stuff down. I start by using my redeploy to put my bows on top of a giant rock right next to my deployment zone so they have some line of sight. I could have had them around it, but I essentially hid them behind it. So I put them on top.
Okay.
It didn't gain them any distance, really. It helped them be a little bit more survivable, but it was mostly just so they could see. Still within close enough to be able, of the shaman, to be able to get 5-ups for their poisons. For my dirty trick, because we get dirty tricks, I choose the one. It's like, hey, take 3 dice, roll. If you get a 4-up on any of those dice, for every die that's a 4-up, choose an enemy unit and roll against their wounds characteristic. I forget if it's meet or beat or just beat, but essentially if you get it, I'm pretty sure it's above their wounds characteristic, then pull them off the board. They come down at the end of the next movement phase. I rolled 3 dice. I said, you know what? I like the sound of this one. Let me roll 3 dice, because if I can get rid of some of his chaff units in the middle, I'll feel pretty good. I rolled a 1-1-2. So he gets to keep his army.
Oh no.
That's all right. I mean, it's a nice ability. If it works, great. If it doesn't, so be it. So turn 1 starts. I give my bolt boys the poison, so now they do mortals on 5-ups, and I look over at that bloodthirster, and he's got to go. I think the biggest problem with the bloodthirster, he's a good amount of points, and I'm sure he is a great model. He can do a whole lot, but the biggest thing is he doesn't have a ward save, and I do mortals. So my skewer goes, and it's 1 shot. It's a 2-up to hit, 3 to wound, -2 rend, and it does 2. Plus, I roll dice equal to your wounds characteristic, and every 5-up causes an extra wound, max of 12. So great against gargants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course, we're cruel boys, so we poison on a 6. So I roll it, and it rolls a 6, so it's automatically mortal wounds. I roll it. I do. I want to say like 7 wounds to the guy. He's only 14 wounds, so he's got 7 wounds left. So okay, these bolt boys, they're going to take it. They're going to take their shots. They're poisoning on 5s. Any poison that goes through is 2 mortal wounds. I was able to get, I think, 6 mortal wounds on it, and then enough saves where he missed the save, so I killed it the first shooting phase. I don't even know exactly what it does. I know I didn't want to get in near me, and I know it could get up there fast and would be a problem, but I lucked out with the rolls.
Okay.
I fired that bow 4 times. It rolled 6s on the first 3 times that I rolled to hit. The last time didn't roll 6, and he ended up making the save, so it didn't do anything. But the first 3 times, it was mortal wounds each time. Because the next time it targeted Blood Crushers, and it took down one of the Blood Crushers. The time after that, I think it might have killed another one. He after that, I moved my army up, hung out. He pushed his army forward. He got his Blood Reavers into my bows, but they they're still 2 attacks. They're still doing mortal wounds, and with my positioning, he wasn't able to get enough of them in. I was able to attrition them out without really losing too many of my guys. I lost my whole one flank to the Blood Crushers. I expected that. My guys are not going to stand up to those, but they held them off long enough. And I actually pushed my Hobgrots between a shooting attack and a charge. They almost took down the Blessed Crater. They got him down to 1 wound. Following turn, he used Blood Tithe points to essentially do an attack in the hero phase. He figured, I'll kill them, I'll move over, I'll do all this stuff. And he failed to wound those guys. I had 2 of them left. Those 2 guys ended up killing him out later on when they attacked him. So I mean, it was I'm pretty sure they ended up killing him out. It was a good game. Points wise, was very close until about the last round. I got double turned once, but otherwise points were very close until the last round. But just the amount of army left wasn't. A lot of it was I was just, his dice were a lot more middling than mine. My dice happened to hit the numbers. I only really got mortal wounds. Everything else essentially missed, but if you get enough mortal wounds, that's going to do the trick. Like I all out attacked or when he charged in, and I was able to kill 3 of the Blood Reavers when they charged because I was able to get 3 5-ups. I was only doing mortal wounds when I hit, but I was able to get 3 of them. All right, that's 3 of those guys out of 10 dead. That's a lot less attacks. So, and then when I did my next shooting phase, hey, can't poison them then, but I'm looking for 6s. Hey, they're shooting a lot more. Got a couple 6s, wipe a few more off. So it was a good game. It was a lot of fun had by both. The dice definitely had something to do with it, and that bow will never perform that well again ever. I know that. It's impossible for it to perform that well again.
And so you blew all your luck.
Apparently, yeah. It had the opposite problem of freshly painted model luck, where normally it does nothing for you and dies. It was my MVP. Yeah. It probably itself did, I don't know, 12 wounds or more. And it held an objective and didn't die when a Blood Crusher came at it. 1 single Blood Crusher came at it. It still lived for 2 turns with that Blood Crusher there. So it performed well. I have to say I liked it. But that was my gaming for last week. We'll see if I get to anything this week.
Exactly.
All right, why don't we go on to some news?
Yeah, let's do it, because this weekend was oh, Lord have mercy. This weekend was GW weekend. Cracking my back ready for this.
Yeah. So it was Warhammer Day on Saturday.
Yep.
Did you watch it at all, or?
I watched the whole thing. I woke up at 7 o'clock. I forgot what British Standard Time nonsense it starts at.
Compared but in American to us, I want to say it's about 4 hours.
Doesn't matter.
I think it's about 4 hours.
Yeah. In freedom hours, it was 7 o'clock.
We have 4 different time zones in our country.
Oh my god, I know. It's like, and what sucks is like most, like I know Guild Wars, because they're based off in California. They do Pacific Standard Time, which drives me up the wall. Yeah. No, so it started like 7 o'clock, I think, and my daughter wakes up at that time anyway, so it wasn't like anything bad. I put it on. I made some breakfast. I put on my Bluetooth headset and watched it. And I mean, we could just jump right into what they did. And funny enough, I think we have this in order too. So
yeah,
I mean,
I came up with the order by just literally scrolling through their articles.
That's what it was.
They put it in that order.
Yeah. So I mean, first and foremost, I mentioned this last week or last podcast.
Yeah.
But there are rumors, the leaks of a Custodies and Gene Stealer cult box, and lo and behold, boom, they showed it. It's a Gene Stealer cult versus Custodies box. The Custodies in the box come with 3 Alaris, which are their Terminators, 5 Sisters of Silence, and a completely new model, the Blade Champion. I think he's named. I don't want to say, they didn't give a lot of information on him. He's either a cool character or he's named. I'm not sure, because they gave him a name, but then like in the Warhammer community article, it's just a normal dude. So I don't know. But point is, new Custodies character. And I mean, and the Gene Stealer cults come with whatever Gene Stealer cults. They come with this new dude with a remote charges and blasting charges, which is great.
Yeah, we'll discuss a little bit of those rules
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what they're supposed to do, because that is actually a cool looking model. I'm not huge on
Well, I
Gene
mean,
Stealer cult, but
we
I
might
do
as
like the
well.
look of that
We
model.
could do it now. We could do it now
All
because
right,
yeah.
why don't we start with your Custode boy? Start
Yeah,
with
because
him.
I
This
am
Blade Champion.
the resident custode boy. Well, first of all, it comes
Yeah.
with 3 Alaris. 3 Alaris are amazing. They're Terminators. They punch hard. They hit hard, and their special thing is that they can target characters. They can actually target characters which are usually hidden. So they're very good assassination type characters. The
Okay.
Sisters of Silence are. I'm hoping the Codex fixes them. They're good. They're kind of useless, but no. So what they're good for at the tournament level and just normal play level is that they can't be targeted by second powers. So you shove them
Yeah.
up in the front of the army, and those people who love running smite spam, they can't do anything to you because they literally cannot be targeted by smite, and they lose that entire special thing that they do, which is amazing. But the Blade Champion, we're not sure of his stats. But because sword style. So one style is basically for monsters versus vehicles, which makes them strength 7, AP -4, 2
That's the
damage.
Beemore,
And
right? Or Bahemor.
yeah, the Behemoth, yeah. And what's really interesting is like, okay, strength 7, who cares, right? It wounds stuff on a 4-up normally, but no, it's any vehicle. So I can strike a Titan, and I'm wounded on a 4-up because it's a vehicle. So
Okay.
throw him against a Warlord Titan and watch him do 6 swings, wounding the thing on a 4-up, which is
And that's on the hit roll, right? Not the wound roll.
Yeah,
See,
it's just
that's the big
it's so
strong
great.
point.
Yeah,
You actually only need
it's yeah,
force to hit rather than to wound.
yeah. Well, and they normally hit on 2s, so that's what makes all Custodies. That's their kind of thing. They all hit on 2s. And then Hurricanus, which is basically your sweep style thing, which is AP -1, which is nice, damage 1, but basically you make 2 attacks instead of 1 for each attack, so it's 12 attacks, which is
That's a lot of attacks.
12. Yeah, so it's basically you can't swarm him, which is great. And then the Victus, which is I think pretty cool. So if it's against a character, AP -4, which is again you're basically taking them with their invul save. You become strength 6, strength +1, damage 3, which is amazing. So like a couple of things just on this before I get into the special rules. Here's one of the things that Custodies really lacked in, and a lot of Custodies players hated, myself included. When Custodies first came out, they had D3 damage weapons, which at the start of 8th edition was amazing, right? D3 damage weapons were like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Oh my God, super OP, right? And then as flat damage became more prevalent in 8th edition and then 9th edition, D3 damage weapons kind of
Yeah.
suck. They're not great.
I'd rather have 2
Especially when
damage than
stuff
D3.
exactly. Because no one had 2 damage. Everyone was either 1 damage, D6 damage, D3 damage. So by this sword showing us that it has flat damage indicates to us, because there was a rumor floating around that all of the Custodies weapons will get flat damage. Swords will become 2 damage, spears will become 3 damage, so 2 damage and then 3 damage on the charge. Axes will become 3 damage flat, and then the Loris is going to have a 4 damage axe, right? There was a rumor about this, and this kind of confirms that rumor that flat damage is hopefully going to stay with the Custodies instead of D3, which is amazing. And then then he has got special rules, right? So one of the special rules is, and this is pretty cool, anytime you do a melee attack against this model, on a 1 to 3, it always fails. That's amazing. That's it. I can't explain how amazing. It's basically, most characters in 40k hit on 2-up, right? Or they hit on 3-up. And there's really not a lot of, there's some -1 to hit, but this is just straight up. If you roll a 1 to 3, 50% of chance of the time, you are just going to fail to hit this dude, which is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity.
If your weapon skill was higher, so essentially that's like them having a higher weapon skill than you, right? Because when the weapon skill's higher, it's 4s.
No, it's just each time a melee attack is made against the model, an unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 always fails. Oh, it's
No, I know. I mean in general. So in 40k in general, if your weapon skill
yes.
is like 1 better than me, then I hit on 4. So essentially, he always counts as having a better weapon skill than you, for all intents and purposes.
No. I think. Wait, am I? No.
It's been
Weapon
forever
skill is
since I
just
played
always hit.
40k.
Yeah, no, 4K. No, weapon
Oh,
skill is
you're
like
right. They
Sigmar.
don't do that
It
anymore,
just
right?
tells you.
You're right. Yeah,
Strength.
sorry,
You're thinking of
that's
strength and
that's all
toughness.
different now.
Weapon skill. Yeah, no. So yeah, weapon skill is just used to be. You hit on 2 up and 3 up, and these are characters. Now it's just nope. You hit them on 4 up. Period. So just let's say like a smash captain from the Blood Angels that just goes in, does 9 attacks, hitting on 2s, right? Those 9 attacks that usually had 9 hitting you now have 4 hitting you, which is that's insane. And on top of that little side, he also adds 1 to the armor saving throw, which is he becomes a 1-up armor save.
If it's a
Which
melee
is
attack, yes.
yes, which is ill. That's again. And then everyone slept on this rule, but this rule is like I'm going nuts on this. Because well, I should also point out they also said that he has a leadership characteristic of 11. I don't. Yes, the Blade Champion's leadership is 11.
Why would it go to 11 other than, Spinal Tap references?
No, because a lot of psychic powers work off leadership, right? And a lot of Dark Eldar shenanigans work off leadership. And some Necrons for leadership 10, some Space Marines for leadership 10. Custodies are supposed to be like the penultimate. They don't fall back, adamantium, willpower, bull, all that nonsense. So leadership 11 is insanity. But this is rule. A lot of people sleep on it, and I don't know why. But essentially,
it's new. That's all it boils down to. It's very new, so people I don't think have digested it all yet.
In 40k, you have heroic intervention, and heroic intervention is reserved for characters, right? And essentially, what happens is if someone ends up within 3 inches of you, you can pile in 3 inches at the end of the charge phase, which is excellent, right? That's great. And Custodies have a cool little command point that for 1 CP, I can just select a unit to heroically intervene like a character. So like my big squad of spears can act like a character and intervene and heroically intervene in, right? Which is good to get them into combat if you were trying to avoid them. Gives you like play, you know what I mean? This guy, this dude, he can heroically intervene because he's a character, except he heroically intervenes from 6 inches away. So
that's pretty good.
And it seems like you're only like, oh, that's only 3 more inches. Well, who cares? With 6 inches is a big. Like if you're trying to avoid him,
what's his move?
His move. Well, all Custodies are 6, unless they're
so
on
it's
a bike.
A full move essentially. He gets a full move if he can if he can reach you in a full move.
Yeah, And remember, it's 40k, so it's 6.5 inches because engagement range is a half an inch. So so like normally people when they played against Custodies, what they would do is they would kind of finagle their forces so that they can't get heroically charged by that 1 CP strat or by another character. But Dreadnoughts can do that too, by the way. Dreadnoughts you play 1 CP for a Dreadnought to heroically intervene. Now this dude he just walks into combat. You really can't avoid him. And if you do avoid him,
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
For heroic intervention, is that only during your opponent's charge phase?
Yes. Well, let me see. If the model's within a given enemy unit, fight. Oh my god! I should have read this again.
Well, notice it says normal heroic intervention still applies. Can you heroically intervene in your own phase, or no?
So here's the fun part.
Just
first of all, no. Here's the first. Well, first of all, I didn't even read the first part. It can fight first that phase.
If you didn't catch that, I was going to tell you that one. Yeah.
What? I didn't even. So
Yeah.
in 40K, oh my God, Jesus Christ! In 40K, if it's your turn, what happens is it goes chargers first, and then the opponent chooses first, and then it goes to you. And then the opponent phase, you choose first, and then the opponent chooses. Right? It goes to the opposite person during that fight phase. And so it goes. So for example, if I charged you, Dave, right?
Yeah.
What'll happen was my charges will go first, and then after all my charges have went, you get to select the unit to fight first. I
Got it.
did not realize that this dude is just straight up. He just goes first.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, okay, which also defeats the purpose of interrupts. So let me see the model.
Mhm.
So yeah, so heroic intervention only happens in the
In the opponent's
opponent's
face. Yeah.
charging phase. Yes.
That's why I thought I
Um.
looked it up as well to be sure about that. But
Oh.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. It's only in the opponent's. It's not like Sigmar where he can. What is it? Pile in 6 inches.
Yeah. Well, normally three,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's certain models that break that rule.
Yeah, it's certainly that ogres. That's why ogres have like. There's an ogre guy that you always take that piles in 6. That's why. But no. Yeah. So it's not a pile in 6. It's just literally it's if the opponent is charging you, which combat. There are a lot of combat armies unless you're fighting Tau essentially. Um, you just heroically intervene 6, which is, and then you attack first. That's the funny part. So fight
Yeah.
first that phase. Yeah. So the chargers don't even go first. So he just so normally when you heroically intervene, Dave, you don't get to fight first. It doesn't count as a charge. You're like
Yeah.
walking
You're
into
just in there.
combat. Yeah. He walks in and just starts kicking people. Which, by the way, so bikes have the Custodies bikes have a 3 CP stratagem. So this is a heavy duty stratagem, right? And all
Mhm.
it is after all charges have been declared and everyone has been moved, but before the fight phase happens, you can select a bike unit and make a charge with them. Roll 2d6, see if they make it. Right? It's 3 CP, and they attack before anyone else, including all chargers. So
Okay.
if that command stays there, I would love to run this guy with like a unit of bikes very close by, and have them as just like the ultimate counter charge unit. Like, okay, you charge my dudes. Okay, here's 6 bikes or 5 bikes and this dude. Ugh, 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 ugh.
It sounds to me like for this guy, because essentially he can intervene within 6. He's going to swing first. He wants to get in the combat with his weapon. He wants to fight whatever he finds because he can choose a profile that's going to work well. It seems like to me he has to become like a 6-inch bubble if you don't go there. Or,
Yeah,
and rightly so, you have to kill him in shooting, which I'm not saying is easy. But since he has +1 to his armor save in melee, you kill him in shooting or you have to avoid him.
and good luck killing and shooting because in 40K it's not Sigmar. You can't pick out characters. They're hidden by
Yeah. The other
units
models. Yeah.
essentially, which
Yeah.
is I want him. I want him so badly. I want him now.
But no, he's the only new model
Yes.
for Custodes in that box, right?
Yes. Thank God.
All right.
Please. No.
I think they both only got one new model because I think for the Gene Stealers, I don't know all the Gene Stealer names, but I think it's
No,
just the
yeah, it is.
Reductus Saboteur. I think that's the only one that's new.
Yes. That is the only new model. So you can talk about the Saboteur if you want.
Yeah, I think it's worthwhile talking about now. Don't know too much
Yeah.
about it, but reading through it, I do like a few
I can
things.
read it.
So a few things. One of the big things is for this model is that gets remote explosives, range 24 inches, assault 2d6, strength 8, AP -3, 1 damage, has blast. You can attack aircraft. That makes sense. The big thing is if you're going against a vehicle or a monster, its damage profile goes to 3. So it
Which
can
is
do a
insane.
lot of damage to vehicles and monsters.
That's insane.
They,
That's
yeah,
that's insane.
especially for again, it's 2d6, in assault, but it is
2d3,
assault.
2d3.
Sorry, 2d3, not 2d6,
Yeah.
2d3. But that could get you quite a few. Could actually work quite
And
well.
here's this. I mean, this is what's scary. So a lot of dreadnoughts and contemptors have the native ability to be -1 damage. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
2 damage weapons kind of suck against them, and d6 damage sucks against them. This is
Yeah.
damage 3, meaning
hmm
even with the -1 damage, that is 2 damage a pop. It's ow, ow, ow. That hurts. Because
Yeah.
what's 2d3? What's the average? It's
The
4.
average is sitting at 4.
So 4, probably going to hit on 3s or 2s. So let's just say 2s. That's probably all 4 hit. Strength 8 is going to be 3s to wounds. That's 3 minus 3. Yeah, you'll get that's 9 damage.
Yeah,
That's 6 to
you're
9
looking at
damage.
probably between 6 to 9 on average, and it could spike to potentially do
12.
you quite a bit more.
Yeah, it's just I that's insane. That's a pretty damn
Yeah.
cool place.
Yeah. The other thing it can do, it has a special plan explosive action. So it can do that action. It can literally leave a small explosive on the table. So it says at the end of the movement phase or your opponent's charge phase, if any enemy models within 3 inches of this redacted explosives marker can use the ability. You roll a d6 for each model, aircraft, no, obviously, within 3 inches. You add 2 if the model is a biker or monstrous vehicle or monster or vehicle. On a 4-up, it takes a mortal wound, or 4 mortal wounds if it's a monster or a vehicle, and then you remove it. So
And then,
you're looking for a 4-up, but if it's a vehicle, you're getting a +2. So essentially, on a 2-up, you're doing 4 mortal wounds to a monster or a vehicle.
yep.
Or if you got another unit that gets close, you put it near the objective, near somewhere they want to go, or where they're naturally going to have to be. You could potentially do quite a bit of damage to someone as they're coming through.
It's insanity. I like it. I like it a lot. And
They're very-
honestly, like even the special rules are pretty good. Did you check out
Yes.
Cloaked and Clandestine? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for that individual model. Cloaked is each time a ranged attack is allocated to this model while it's receiving the benefit of cover. Add 1 to any armor saving throw. So you get an
Which
additional
is good.
+1 from cover. Oh, that's absolutely
The
great because
+2. Yeah.
yeah. So additional +1 on top of whatever you would have before. So yeah, you're getting a +2, which is very nice. Clandestine, while this model is within an area terrain feature, so again, it wants to be in terrain. You want to be doing your work from terrain. Enemy models cannot target with ranged attacks unless they're within 12 inches. And they subtract 1 from the hit roll. So you have to get close. You're going to be harder to hit. You have extra cover. And if they're that close, they're going to start getting in range of you being able to either one, you put out your explosive to help guard you because you know how that to get, or you can be using your remote explosives. They're out to 24. So you can hit further than enemies can hit you. Again, assuming
I
you're in
mean,
cover.
big thing with Gene Stealer Cult too is their melee weapons hurt.
Yes.
I mean, hopefully they get fixed, not nerfed. When I say fixed, I don't mean nerfed because they're pretty bad right now in 40k. Because the big thing with 40k right now is you need to hold objectives, and Gene Stealer Cults
Yeah.
are not great at that. But they're good at wiping you off objectives. Their melee weapons hurt. Their drill is insane.
Yeah.
So you getting
And they get a
closer to
lot of
shoot this one
infiltration,
dude,
right?
yeah. So like you
Yeah.
getting close to shoot this one dude, it's just like, oh, thank you, you did my job for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not that I'm going to pick up that army or anything like that, but I really do like that idea. I like what that model can do. I'm curious to see how many points it is. Obviously, we don't know how their points costing it. They point it way too much. I mean, it
Yeah,
has a lot
exactly.
of good abilities, but it has a lot of very nice, what I would call very particular utility. But it's really easy to overcost that model because, if you get into it in close combat, survivability is probably not great. It's probably not tons of wounds. If you are in a position to hurt it with the right stuff, you can probably take it down real fast. So I'm hoping they don't overcost it because it's a cool looking model, and it'll add a lot to the army. I think it really gives them
Yeah,
something
I agree.
that they could use.
It's yeah.
So, I think that was all the 40K specific things.
Yes, that was all the 40k specific.
All right.
I mean, not including like other like stuff like Kill Team and stuff, but that was the 40k
Yeah.
specific stuff.
Yeah. So that takes us then to Age of Sigmar because we're
Yep.
going in the order that they presented it in.
Yeah, exactly.
The big thing for Age of Sigmar is the Maggotkin of Nurgle.
Oh,
Supposedly releasing in December. We'll see about that. So they're getting their battle tome, and their battle tome shows their nice brand new model. I use nice very
no,
very
it's
loosely.
nice. It is. No. It is nice. It is nice.
I
know what you
I
mean. Visually disgusting, but
yes, I do not like the fly head.
really, wait, is it
And
like aesthetic, or you just don't like it because it's creepy?
Honestly, it's aesthetics. It's not because of the creepiness. I think the creepiness is actually kind of cool. I think it looks kind of dopey on his body.
Oh. So you like, but you know it comes with the hood, right? Like it comes with
Yeah,
the
yeah, I'm
okay.
looking at the model. I like the hooded form. I think now a model like that is going to live or die by your paint job because you're trying to sell sickness and age
Yeah.
and just grossness. So you've got to be willing to put that kind of paint job into it. But it has the motif and the look to really support that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised his hand on the staff isn't more, I don't know, gnarled looking. Like his limbs actually, he looks like he's got like a bit of strength to him, which I guess you need for
So
the size of that scythe.
so I will point out that like in
Mhm,
Sigmar, they're very
mhm.
different from like they're different from oh my god, the word is escaping me. 40k. Death
Yeah,
Guard.
that's
Very
good.
different
Yeah.
from Death Guard. So in Sigmar, a lot of the humans, instead of being like the demons, which are demons, they're actually more
Mhm,
human like in appearance. They're more just pimply and disgusting, less mutated.
mhm.
Until you get to like more of the demons, which for Christ's sake have like a mouth in the belly kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
why
fine.
I'm used to this.
I'm fine with that. I'm glad there's no weird mouth in the belly or anything like that. Leave that to the demons. I was just I would have liked them to maybe have pushed that aesthetic a little more. Give him his
Hmm.
bloated belly and all, because I think that's a good look. But then if you make Hibbs, like going towards his arms a little bit scrawny and all, it kind of shows that sort of famine slash pestilence and plague sort
Okay.
of look. Kind
Yeah.
of kind of play with those two ideas. But overall, I like it. I think the fly head looks dopey.
See, here's what I think it looks dopey, and I'm going to agree with you. So, do you see the
Mhm.
codex? You see the codex?
Yes. Yeah,
What do
I
you think
do
about
see
that
the
fly
cover of the
head?
codex.
What do you think about that fly head?
There I like it more. One, it
And
is in the
the cloak.
it is in
That's
his cloak.
exactly what I was just
Yes.
going to say. Yep. Okay. I think if that fly head was, what I would do is cut a big portion of the back piece off and shove it back into the cowl,
Cowl.
cowl,
Cowl.
cowl. Yeah, let's shove it back into the cowl hood. Because it's just that's why I think it looks so dopey. It's just so far out there. Yeah. No, I
You're
agree.
right. Actually, no, looking at it now, I think that's one of my main problems with it. His covered head, it looks like there's a face under there.
Yeah.
With the one with the fly, it looks like there's a face behind him or something behind him holding the cowl up correctly, and then it sticks out to the front.
Yeah. It doesn't look. I would. Yeah. Now here's what I'm seeing, and
Yeah.
this is exciting me. One of my favorite models that GW has ever produced, and I never bought it because I feel like I would never do it a good paint job. And I don't even know the name of it is the problem. Is the I don't know if you can see the picture. It's right under the codex. It's the big dude, the big massive dude with the tentacle arm. And I wish I knew his damn
Oh,
name.
Glock. The one with
Is it
the three
Glotkin?
brothers on top. That's the Glockin.
Yeah, is that I
Yep. I had one
adore
of them.
that model.
Yeah.
Oh god, I adore that model with such an undying passion. The arm, the belly, the tentacle arm. I would not even
Mhm.
put the brothers on top. I would just use it as that, right?
Yeah.
And I know some 30k guys who use that as Demons of Ruinstorm. He's like a
Mhm.
greater demon for Demons of Ruinstorm. I know that they're just putting him there for aesthetics, right? But my
Mhm.
hope, my dream is that the reason he's there is that he's getting good rules. He's not used at all in Sigmar because he's just
What
not that
is he
great.
just that bad?
Yeah, he's
Well, how's that
overpointed.
army? Is that army
So the
bad?
yeah, it's well, I mean, if you want to go statistics, just I think 40% win rate, which is not bad, not good. It's exactly in the middle.
Oh, that's not terrible. That's
Yeah, it's
okay.
not terrible. It's C tier. If you're looking at tiers, it's C tier. It's not A, it's not B, it's not failing. It's definitely not. It's literally C tier. It needs help, but it can work. And there's only really one list for it. So the fact that they're putting him in a picture on Warhammer Community, I'm hoping that he becomes a good model because to see him on the table. Now, hopefully, people don't spam him because that's just going to annoy me. But just to have like one of those dudes on the table, oh my god, I'd be so happy because he's just it's such. And yeah, I know you had him as a model.
Yeah, I had when I had my demons, because that was right around the time they did the Nurgle book for the end times, the maggot. I think it
Mm,
was Maggotkin book. And the big thing is he was the big model for it and the big boy just in general. With it's
Yeah,
like supposed to be three brothers on top and all. So yeah, I did have him at one point.
yeah. So it's just and that maw mouth, just everything about him, I love, and I'm hoping that he gets justice in his rules, because I mean, just oh God, just to see that on the table.
His rules aren't bad. I'm thumbing through his rules right now. He seems like he does a lot. I mean, he's only just about 400 points. He's 394, 395 points. He's 18 wounds, 4 up save. That means he can die if someone really wants to go at him. But
Exactly.
he can give +1 to the attacks of melee weapons by friendly Nurgle units within 14. Yeah,
Wait,
that's a
holy within
heroic
or
ability he
within?
has. Yeah, that's
Is
his
that
command
within or
ability.
holy within?
Oh,
Huh.
but within,
Huh.
and not holy within, just
Not
within.
holy.
Yep,
Really?
they don't say holy within.
I'm actually
Um, he
trying
can
to look
heal
for him now.
himself. He can heal D3 in the hero phase. Um, he can cause you to have harder to hit him. He can cause some
There we
mortal
go. Critical
wounds.
option.
I mean, not terrible attacks, not amazing attacks. The number of
What is it?
attacks on his base thing, I think, is the problem, except for his flailing tentacle.
Yeah, but even his flailing tentacle though, 6 attacks, hitting on fours. What? Yeah, no, because so many people bring -1 to hit nowadays.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a 400 point, I'll give you an idea. 400 point model, right, Dave?
Mhm.
For 400 points, I could bring a Stonehorn, right? The
Yeah.
Stonehorn has a 5 up, feel no pain, and a 2 up save. Well, a 3 up, but you make it a 2 up.
Mm.
Right? When he charges you and you roll the amount of dice for the charge roll, and on a 4 it's a mortal wound, and
Mm.
all of his stuff hits on a 3 and does multiple damage. And he can reroll charges for anyone near him. So I mean, I don't know.
I don't. I mean, he might not be great. I don't think he's necessarily bad. I think part of the problem is, one, the stuff around him might not be quite good enough, and two, like you wouldn't want him as your general because since
Wait a
he's a
minute.
named character, you can't put certain things on him.
Yeah, hold on.
Like
I'm just
you can't
realizing
put an
something.
artifact on him or anything like that.
He does not. Oh yeah, no, he's bad. I can tell you why he's bad right now. So
Why?
what's the save? 4 up?
Yeah, it's 4 up
Yeah.
save.
Find me his ward save.
Yeah. Oh, but that's true of most stuff I'm seeing now in terms of chaos. They don't have ward saves naturally, and you can't
Yeah,
give
no,
him one
that's
since he's a unique
yeah.
character.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, no.
He he to
It,
me, and I think this is part of the problem. He to me feels like he wants to be a utility piece. I'm going to hand out +1 attacks. I'm gonna go fight that unit over there that I can kill that can't hurt me too bad. I'll heal up D3 at the start of my next phase. He's not going to wade into the big stuff. And that's maybe where you actually want him to be. And maybe a
okay.
400 point sort of support isn't what you can work with.
Yeah.
But I hope they do something where he wants to take a center stage again.
He's such a cool model. He's such a
He
dad.
is.
And the conversions, like 30K guys, I think are nuts. 30K people are nuts. And they've converted him and they've done like things with him.
Mhm.
It's just yeah. So I'm hoping there's justice done. Because it's such a good model. All right. That's Sigmar though. That was it. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
the one thing for Sigmar, but it was a pretty big thing.
Yeah. And again, it's
I love that.
supposedly December. We'll see about that. So had
So,
you ever heard of Dungeon Bowl before this?
okay, so I played Blood Bowl. I never
Yeah.
heard of Dungeon Bowl ever in my entire life.
Okay. I had to look this up because I saw it and I'm like, why they misspell Blood Bowl? Like, what the hell is this?
The hell's this?
So Dungeon Bowl, it originally came out in 1989. Um, and the whole do you listen to it, so you know the premise, right?
Yeah, no, I know the premise. Yes, where it's
You want to
essentially
explain
there's.
the premise?
I mean, if I understood this correctly, they're exploring a dungeon. They're also playing. They're still playing Blood Bowl, but they're in a
Yes.
dungeon, so there's still treasure chests around. It's like someone. It's like someone's playing football but like in Gauntlet, is what I understood it as.
Yes, although so here's a little bit more into it. So the original game was made
Yeah.
by Jervis Johnson. And essentially the idea is so Blood Bowl is you have various teams of essentially the different races all playing weird football, rugby versus each other. Blood Bowl is, well, hey, underneath the catacombs of the essentially the wizard towers and stuff like that, they have their own teams. They sponsor teams, and they'll pick whatever races wherever they want. They'll sponsor these teams, and they're going to essentially do Blood Bowl, but they're going to be down in the catacombs doing it. The game overall is a bit different. The biggest thing to start with is there is no football to begin with. You have to find it. It's essentially the idea is like when it's in the chest. Yeah, the football's actually in one of the chests. You only have to score one touchdown to win the game. But I think that the main concept is it just plays very different. It is not,
Well, yeah.
Blood Bowl at all. Really.
Well, no, because Blood Bowl is very linear. Not linear, I shouldn't say. That's a bad way to put it, but it's a football field.
Yeah.
You go one direction or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this, and it's literally a dungeon. It's
it's a
crap,
dungeon crawler.
Yeah, what's the game they produce that uses these tiles?
A lot of them.
Yeah, it's how deep? Whatever, I can't remember.
There's a variety.
Yeah.
I mean, most of their smaller games use these tiles. It almost to me looks like a Death Watch, but you got weird ogres and rats and shit.
No, but I like it. It's not for me. Probably not something I'm going to buy.
Nope.
Yeah, because I have way too much. But I appreciate. I mean, listen, it's GW is the only company I know that can do this many games and still survive. So you know what? All the power to them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I like the teams they put out. So they in the box, they're doing. So the idea is there was the 8 winds of magic. So there was a college for each wind of magic in the old world.
Oh Lord.
So they show the fire team and the shadow team. The fire team is apparently just very slow. It's got a bunch of dwarves, some ogres, and some little Noblars. And then you have the team of shadows, which is Skaven and Dark Elves, which is apparently a very quick team. And that's what they've decided to have go against each other, is these two teams. I like the teams. I like the look. I like the colors they painted them in. It's very fitting for what they're supposed to be.
Honestly, let's be honest though. Okay, so that team, right, with the dwarves and everyone, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to buy them. The ogre team, on the other hand, I would 100% buy because the ogre team looks funnier, in my opinion. But it looks good. I'll give them props for props are due. It looks good.
They do look cool. Yeah. Do I have any interest in this game? No.
No.
I'm curious.
No knock against it. No knock against it.
I'm curious if they're going to support it enough to do 8 teams. It's supposed to be one per college of magic.
Honestly, let's be honest here. They've been supporting Blood Bowl this whole time, so I wouldn't be surprised. They've been supporting everything.
Been supporting Blood Bowl.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they would do it. I think they would.
So, and I don't have an answer to this. I don't think either of us will. Blood Bowl, how so the original, not the original. Essentially, when they redid Blood Bowl, they did it with orcs and humans. How long was it before the next set of teams came out? Wasn't it quite a while?
Oh, it was like 4 months, 5 months.
4 months.
About every 4 months, there's a new team. So it was, I think, the next one was dwarves. Then it was Skaven. Then it was elves. Then it was Amazonians. I think ogres came in somewhere along there. So it's actually pretty on the money. It's usually 2 teams a year. Let's say 2 teams a year.
Okay, so 2. So it's not left behind, but 2 teams a year I would not call supported.
It's like I said, I have no opinion on it because I don't play it. I know some people that do love this, but it's like I said, it's something to pick up if you like it. But it's what it is? It's a cool story. That's what it is. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's a cool story. Props to the people who buy it. You know what I mean? That's about it.
And
That's
if
all
you
I can say
remember
about
from
that.
1989 and you got a real desire to see what they've done to Jervis Johnson's baby, there you go. You can play
Oh,
that.
Jervis Johnson.
If anyone does,
God,
I'll be curious if they give the store a copy. If they give them a copy, maybe I'll try it out and talk about how it actually plays,
exactly.
how it is.
It's probably going to play like Blood Bowl. The big difference is going to be instead of going left and right, you're going everywhere. It looks that's the tactic. It seems like there seems to be more of like, oh my god, I got to cover this hallway. That's what it was. It looks like Zone Mortalis to me. Blood Bowl Zone
Okay, yeah, I
Mortalis.
can see that.
That's where I was trying to get to. It looks like Blood Bowl Zone Mortalis or Blood Bowl. If you want the 40k version of Zone Mortalis, what's the one with Gene Steele? Space Hulk.
Space Hulk. That's why I
Yeah,
said Death Watch. Yeah, it's Space
yeah,
Hulk. That's the game I
yeah.
couldn't think of.
Right.
I'm right. The
Yeah, but
world's
that's
all
all I got
wrong.
to say on it. It's cool. It's a cool story.
Yeah. It's fine. That's cool. Like I said, if I get a chance, I'll try it out and I'll talk about
Yeah.
how it goes.
All right. Next is Warcry, I believe.
Yeah. Have you ever played Warcry?
Yes. Okay. So I love
I
Warcry,
never have.
and I wish more people played. So Warcry, for those people who don't know, is
I'm one of them.
it's the kill team of Sigmar. It's the kill team of
Okay.
Sigmar, and it does change the game entirely. So, for example, my ogres, which are normally 4 wounds, are actually 18 wounds. You know, like who are like
Okay.
your normal orc, Dave.
Mhm.
That's 1 wound. Can actually be like 6 or 7 wounds.
Okay.
And there's each has an action. There's each army has its own special skills that it can use. So what you do is, I'll give you the very basic rundown.
Okay.
So are you looking at the picture right now? So you see that little
Yeah.
card
Yeah.
with the unit on it. So
Yeah.
it tells you the move, how much, and it tells you how many dice you can throw, what damage it does, and if you roll a 6, it gives you a crit damage. So it might say
Got
like
it.
1/4. So on a normal hit, you do 1 damage. On a crit, on a 6, you do 4 damage, right? And it tells you like you can throw 3 dice, right? And there's no hit, there's no wound. It's you throw those 3 dice, all right?
Mhm.
And you compare your strength against the toughness, because the idea is if you're gonna hit something, it's gonna hurt. And then you see 6 dice here. The cool thing
Okay.
about this game is each and every single army has an individual, I don't want to say command point, but that's essentially what it is. It's like a skill list. So you roll 6 dice, right? And you set them aside. And it can be, values are 1 through 6. And you set it singles, you have singles, doubles, triples, and quads, right? So these are things
Okay.
that like you roll a double 6 or maybe a triple 4, right? And you set those
Mhm.
aside. The person with the most singles gets to dictate order, who gets to activate first, right? The
Okay.
problem is singles don't activate any skills. So you're trading initiative for skills that you can use. What happens on doubles, triples, and quads, that activates certain things. So, for example, if you talk about ogres, on a double, what I can do is I can add the value of the dice to one activation of the ogre's movement. So let's say I roll a double 6, that ogre is now moving 12 inches on that board,
Okay.
right? For a double. And then it uses that double up. And you roll it every turn, by the way. Once everything activates, you re-roll the dice. You re-roll the 6 dice. On a triple, for example, my lead belcher, if I have one, if I don't have one, I can't use a triple. It's completely useless to me. My lead belcher can shoot twice. He jams his gun full of stuff and he shoots twice. On a
So
quad, something else happens.
is this
Go
a
ahead.
back and forth activation, model by model?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But
Yes. Go ahead.
activating a model doesn't cost the die. Just the dice let
No,
me do cool things with the model.
exactly.
Okay.
And then there's see how it has like a third set of black dice.
Yeah.
Every turn you have basically it's called a nature die, and the nature die is a completely random die. You can assign it any value you want, so you can make it a single. Like let's say you rolled 2, 3, 4, 5. You only roll 5 dice, not 6. I should have said sorry. So let's say
Okay.
you roll 2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5. Right? 2, 3,
Mm.
4, 5, 6. Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're missing a
Okay.
1. You can roll if let's say the other person. I don't know. You get the point. It's a nature die.
Yeah.
So let's say you rolled that. You can't do anything with that. You're going first, and you know you're going first. So maybe you take that nature die and you use it, make it a 6. Now you have a double 6. Right?
Okay.
And you refresh. You can either bank it for next turn. So by turn 3, if you bank 3 dice, you now have 3 nature die that you can use.
So between end of turn, if I have dice left over, I can save them as what they are.
No, only no. So at the end of the turn, you re-roll the dice. What you do, it's
Okay.
use or lose. But the nature die, if you don't roll it at the beginning, if you don't use it at the beginning, you can bank it for the next turn. So now at the
Okay.
next turn, you have 2 nature die.
And then if
And
I
then
don't use those, so essentially every round I gain one of these nature dice, and if I don't use it, I don't lose those.
exactly.
Got it. Okay,
So,
that
so
makes
some
sense.
people, some people like by turn 3 might have 3 nature die and they'll double, 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 or maybe even if they're lucky, triple, triple, double. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And what's really cool about this is the missions are completely random. So I don't, Titanic is the open war card set.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
This is what uses that. It uses that
Okay, good.
100%.
All right, I like that.
And what's really weird about this game is you split your forces up into 3 sections: sword, shield, and hammer. Right?
Mhm.
Depending on the mission, that's the deployment. You may put your sword on one corner, your hammer on the other corner, and shields don't come in until turn 2. You don't know what mission you're playing. You assign those roles, that subgroup, before you even pull the mission cards. So
Okay.
if one of the mission objectives is kill everyone in shield, and you assigned one Noblar to your shield group, good game. Or hopefully you're good at hiding. And that's how it's played. You're supposed to play. It forces you to play balanced, essentially.
What
So that's what Warcry is.
what's
That's
the typical
yeah.
amount of models?
Um, it
What would you
depends
say?
on
Is
the
it
art. So it depends on the art. So don't use
well,
me because I use ogres.
no, no,
But
no. But just like a
it's
typical
six
army
to
of
eight, 6 to 8
human-ish. 6
models.
to 8? Okay.
Six to eight. It's about 6 to 8.
What
Um,
is it you bring? Do you bring what then? Probably like 4?
well, I take Novelar, so about 5. So I usually what I do is I
Okay.
have 1 in one group, 2 in another group, 2 in another group. And usually the
Got it.
one I have in one group is like the heaviest hitter that and I never put him in shield because that's the only mission that does that, assassinate shield. So I put him
Yeah.
in like hammer or axe, but yeah, no, that's why I do that. But yeah, you usually get about 6 to 8 people in a Warcry team. And
Okay.
it's really like, for example, one of the Warcry games I played with Brian. It was
Mhm.
King of the Hill, but if you weren't in the middle, you took damage and eventually just lost. Right, so it was a circle that kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and if your warband leader was not in the circle, he died. Right, and then other people just
Okay.
took damage, and you lost. Um, so I was playing a game with Brian, and at the very, very end of the game, the circle was already like 3 inches in the middle. My guy's in. I'm going to win this game. So final turn, Brian rolls a triple. Right, nothing you can do. Activate everyone. He activates this one dude last with a harpoon gun. Activates the harpoon, pulls me 6 inches away from the circle, killing my dude.
Yeah.
So that's how it's a very fun game. And I mean, so the models. Let's talk about the models first. Let's talk about the models. Which one you want to
Okay.
do? You want to do spider people, or you want to do the boring
So
ones?
so before we even get to models,
Oh yeah,
do you see the box in front of you?
yes.
Okay. Because the first one I'll talk about is that Spider-Man's strong hand that he has there with his little baby arm. This dude is a rippling, amount of muscles, and then he has the arm of a third grader coming out of his side.
You gotta love
That
mutations.
is,
Chaos God
yeah,
gives, and chaos gods taketh away.
they gave him, the strength of a man and an infant. So we can now go to models. I wanted to talk about that first.
Yeah.
I I'm looking at these spider people, and they definitely make me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I like them. The one thing about um, Warcry is that they're models. Like they're and you can play. The cool thing about Warcry is you can use a normal Sigmar army, and they have Warcry cards for them,
Mhm.
right? But they also have individual teams, like these guys. And what I find is that the individual teams have so much flavor to them, and these guys are just so creepy.
They are. They are,
Creepy.
like I said, they're a bit unsettling. I do have a problem with I guess the leader, Mr. Forearms there, how he seems to only be supported by the turn of his cloak.
True. Yes, I hate
And
those because that's going to break instantly.
yeah, because that model, not that he's going to be heavy, but he's got a lot of size to him, and I think that's going to be a
Yeah.
problem. Um,
That head though, look at that little like the skin between the spider legs, like ew, just ugh.
Yeah, the webbing. It almost looks like to
Yes.
me. Yeah,
Ugh.
they're a bit unsettling, and that's obvious. I mean, when you're talking about spider things, that's obviously what they went for, and I think they did good a job on being unsettling because the models absolutely are. They're covered in spider webs. One of them, his
Yeah.
weapon, um, it looks like it's either spear being thrown or it's attached based off of his webbing.
Yeah. No, I mean, have you seen the Unmade? Have you ever seen the Warcry team, the Unmade? Here, hold on.
Unmade.
Let me I got you. I
No,
got
I
you. I got you. I got you.
don't think. Oh,
Boom.
I have them right here.
Yeah.
You pulled them up as
Look
well.
at
Yeah, I
them.
just found them.
Look at them.
See these. I don't know. Maybe so I'm not a fan of spiders. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
These unmade, I like. They are creepy, and I think they do that aesthetic well. I think the tall boy with who had all of his limbs replaced. Um, I really like that model. I think that's a really cool model.
It's creepy. I think it's
If
just
I
super creepy.
painted, if I had enough stuff painted where I actually felt I could paint for fun, this is a warband I would pick up
Yeah.
because I
That's
think
just
you
one
can
of
do
them,
a
by the
lot
way.
of fun with them.
There's multiple that are crazy. Like, actually, since you're looking at that page, you see that card in the back,
Yeah.
right? That's the ability card. And what's
Okay.
cool is you see those symbols. So
Yeah.
the one on the left is the unmade symbol. So all of them can. It basically what it does is any of them can do that. But if it has a second symbol, only the unmade and then let's say the leader can do this. Right. So like I think the double is Chain Garrett. Pick an enemy fighter. Yeah. So Chain Garrett can only be done with a fighter that has that symbol and also the unmade symbol. So out of that whole war band, only maybe one or two dudes can do that.
Got it. Okay.
So if you don't, so you have another double, which is great. But let's say, and you have two triples, and your quad is fine. But let's say there was only one double, because that does happen, and this is the only guy with that double. If you don't stick him in your war band, too bad.
Yeah, they're not
That
using it.
double, exactly. So it does force you to kind of take a full on balanced war band, which is great.
Oh,
So
I didn't realize at first. They're so the stuff on them on these unmade, their clothes they're wearing. I guess it's supposed to be skin, and in the front, where would you have your belt hanging down? It's two like flaps of arm.
yeah, yeah.
I
They're,
didn't notice that first. I really like
all of
those
them
models.
all of it. You should see the rest of them. They're all. Some of them are boring. Some of them, like I know the whatchamacallit, the normal human corn guys are kind of boring. But I know the Raven guys. I know one of my friends has the Raven guys, and they just look awesome. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the releases. Yeah, Spider
Yes.
Guys, great, amazing, love it. It fits the aesthetic. It fits the creepiness, the aesthetic. That guy with the
Mhm.
headdress and the webbing between it, just that just no. It gets shivered. I don't like it. Like, and
Yeah, I
that's
don't like
good.
them.
That's good. But that's good that I
Yeah.
don't like him. But it's just I don't like him. It literally flips me out. Um, and then you have Conan the Barbarian over here.
Yeah. The Dark
What are
Savagers.
yeah, Dark Claw Savages. So these look like normal humans. So I could probably guess what some of their abilities are going to be. But let's see. Yeah, so you got some Vikings with shields. I should point out, by the way, the lore of this, Dave, is that
Yeah.
you're fighting in the Chaos Waste for the Chaos Gods.
Got it.
Basically,
Okay.
the entire realm is gladiatorial combat. Yeah, you're trying to get the favor of the gods. So you got some shield maidens. It looks like. Oh, that witch.
Oh, I don't.
Oof.
Their
Well, now
faces are bad.
bad in a good way. Oh, okay, yeah. So
No, just bad looking. The most
yeah,
of them are fine, but the two ladies, the one with the spear and the one with the sword and shield,
the one with the axe is
those
the
that's
worst. Have
rough.
you seen? No, no. Look at axe.
Let me go.
Look at axe
Are you-
lady.
with the spear, long spear behind her.
No, no. The axe lady with the huge great axe. Then it has a guy with two axes behind him.
Guy with two axes. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a really
yeah,
angular face.
yeah. But look at that. Look at the thick legs, though. Look. Oh,
Yes.
oh my. Death by snooze do.
I don't mind her face as much. It's not good. Don't get me wrong.
The neck is, I think, weird for me.
It is a problem. GW has a problem with women being able to sculpt women. I think they seem to lack the ability to get form and function together in a way.
Sisters of Battle, though, have pretty good faces. I've seen the Sister of Battle models, and they have pretty good female faces.
They do now.
I mean, they're very... Yeah, they do now. I remember the old ones.
Yeah, it shows that they still lack it.
Look at that witch, though. That's a cool... It's just a cool model.
Yes.
The staff isn't even... Oh, the staff isn't even complete, so it's just like a broken staff.
Yep. She's holding an eye of something in the other hand.
Actually, wait a minute. She doesn't even have a hand. Wait.
No, she does. Those are hands. Yeah, she does have hands.
Okay, so that's a hand. It looks like a claw, I guess.
No, okay. It's very dark. They painted it. Her arms getting darker to almost a black as it went along. I guess to almost represent like either just dirt or decay. But she actually does have hands.
Yeah. I mean, they're not the spider dudes. Also, I want to point out real quick because I don't think so. Warcry, yes, it's awesome. I love it. It's a great game. The freaking terrain, Dave.
The terrain is great. I will give it that.
The terrain of Warcry. No, but it's always great. Like I wish I don't even know if they still list terrain as something that can be purchased from them. I'll browse real quick while I'm just roll Warcry rules, Warbounds, allies. Oh man, so they don't sell terrain over there. Oh, no, I guess you have to buy it with the box. But the terrain
in the boxes.
is I speechless, absolutely speechless. Like I cannot. Yeah. Anyway,
I'll give them that. No, the terrain is very nice looking. Especially like in this current box. I mean, I don't honestly like either army. I don't think I'd want to have either of them. But overall, it's pretty good looking. The terrain in general in that box, the terrain is great.
That's really,
if I could get it separate, it'd be worth it.
Oh, fun fact in Warcry, you can actually get kicked off of levels and take damage. So that's cool. fighting on that meat gantry is not a great thing for you. There's an objective there. Good luck. Hopefully you don't get kicked off Spartan style. That's why
we'll have to play this then. We'll have to try this out.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not sure if your army has rules yet. Takes
they
a while.
Don't, but I'll run them as other orcs. It doesn't.
Orcs, yeah.
Yeah,
and I know Ryan has them, but you see like the little ramp that goes up. You need those in the Warcry game. You need those in Warcry because you need safe places to traverse upper levels.
Yeah,
because it like for example the Raven dudes just fly, so they can hook and fly onto the upper levels with ease.
Corvus Cabal.
But Corvus Cabal. But it's just this terrain is and they do this every time. Every time they release a Warcry box, it's just the terrain is absolutely insanity.
Is this something where you can find the rules like separately easily, or is this like a pain in the ass to find?
So here's the fun part: they actually haven't learned how to play Warcry with Becca Scott on the website. Which so I'll put it to play Warcry. You don't need a lot. There's certain rules I don't think she goes over, like falling damage and stuff. But
you can find that.
It's not a difficult game. It's not what the difficulty is how to play the. Oh my god! I didn't realize they. I didn't realize they realized the K-Knight Shadow Stalker yet. But they have the. Yeah. Anyway, So Warcry. If you have Sigmar models, I definitely recommend playing Warcry just for fun because the rules are not that hard and honestly. I think it's how much were the card? Give me a second. I just had it right here. I want to see how much is a card deck. Oh, I guess now they come in books. Never mind.
Yeah, for the books, they're between 25 or 35, depending on which Order and Chaos have more stuff. So they're 35. The other two are 25.
Yeah, so I have the book. I actually have Harbingers of Destruction for 25, and for 25 it comes with every single destruction model. So I mean,
it's not bad.
Yeah, that's your rules for everyone. And I would just say, if you have an army, just do it. Just try it.
I think we're gonna have to try it out. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes.
I don't mind. I'll run you through
and then we can do an episode just discussing Warcry once we both have done it and see how we feel about it.
Yeah, I can
Get that down.
definitely run you through it. It's not a it's
All right.
not it's like I said, it's not a hard game to teach. What the hardness comes with literally like, oh, my army can do this, this, and this, and learning the missions and playing to the mission. All right. But
Yeah.
yeah, no.
I think we'll do that
What's
then.
what's
All right, so
what's
that's good
next?
though. That's exciting. That makes Warcry look good. What happened
Yeah.
after that was for
Harrow
their
Deep.
next
Yeah.
Warhammer thing is Underworld's Harrow Deep, and they got these Black
Oh
Powder
man.
Buccaneers, and
The
it's a
most
monkey with a knife. Is that what it is?
yes,
Is that a monkey with a knife?
the most important
It's so good.
release.
Ah,
Oh my god, the entire I was there and the entire Twitch stream exploded. I've never seen so much excitement over a monkey in my entire life.
and
Um,
he's holding it how you want him to with his tail, so he has
yes,
full
it's
360 fighting capabilities.
just he. You know what? I never before wanted to see monkey on monkey combat, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's best thing since they've done since Jacaros.
Now, I've never played Warhammer Underworlds, so I can't comment on the game at all. But what I can say, Dave,
Yeah,
is that
I'm not confident enough to be able to talk about it. I know the basic
but
concepts, but I've never actually tried it.
but the cool thing is these I'm gonna call them kill teams for now because I don't know warbands. Oh, warbands. Sorry.
Well,
These
warbands. Yeah, it's a
warbands
warband.
can be used in Sigmar.
Yes.
So, for example, I have the ogre Harrod underworld model, which is basically Hunter, his three Noblar pets, and his kitty cat, right?
Mhm.
And they are itself a purchased unit for Sigmar, and they come with their own rules. And it's cool because
Mhm.
each one of these warbands, I guess, yeah, each one of these
Yeah, warbands.
warbands have their own special, unique, fluffy. They do something. They're not the best, not competitive, but they're fun to use. Um, oh, you can see the little. Oh, there we go. I didn't realize they put like a little warband family in the bottom.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I mean,
But yeah,
because they showed their
yeah,
roadmap, and essentially they have Harrow Deep that came out this year. They're spatting Cruise through into next year, and it's about every year that they come out with a new box. So at some point
yeah,
next year, there'll be some other box, and who knows what they'll call it.
yeah,
That the boxes are essentially the seasons, and they
yeah,
swap out some cards and what's allowed and what's not through those boxes, as best I
yeah,
understand it.
exactly.
I said,
Which is
never
fine.
tried
I
it.
don't know. Like I said, I never tried it. Don't know anyone who does play it, but I do use the models for Sigmar.
Yeah,
And they do work. Again, they're not competitive. You're not going to win tournaments with them. Maybe some are pretty good, but honestly, they're flavorful and a normal, nice game. Like I'll give you an example. The ogre dude that I have,
Mhm.
he the cabang can I'm just call it deep strike. I don't know what it's actually called in Sigmar, but they can deploy 9 inches away from someone, right? That means the
Yeah.
kitty cat, the ogre, three nobblers can all deep strike, right? And they don't have to be
Mhm.
next to each other. They can go where the hell they want.
Yeah.
And then the nobblers, their big thing is they can trap something. Actually, funny enough, kind of like what the Gene Stealer cult does, where they set up a trap, and if you get within a certain range of it, it'll just do D6 mortal wounds.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yep, it's only one use, but still, it's kind of like, oh, you're going to go on this objective, dat, take that. Um, yeah, so it's cool. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
Rothgorn's Man Trappers.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rothgorn's Man Trappers.
And they all seem to be
It's a,
170s, the points they put at. Because I remember last week we talked about the ones a little bit, the orc one that they did, because the most recent box was
that was
orcs.
170
And
points.
yep.
Okay,
And it was the same price. I'm pretty sure it was the same price for Stormcast Eternal ones. So they seem to be setting them at about
oh, okay.
170, which is
And it's cool
nice.
because they're all independent too. Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
independent. I like them. I like them. I like it. Like I said, I can't comment on the game, but I like the release. And also, again,
Uh,
Death Monkey. That's
I
all
mean,
that
at some point
matters.
we can try that as well because you have that, and I have to pick up the Harrow Deep box because I just like the look of those orc models, and
Mm, yeah,
I might have some Sigmarines soon because I'm probably going to pick up another Dominion because they're a lot of places
it's
are
the
sitting
cheapest
on
way. It's
them,
the
so they're
cheapest.
getting cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. That's what I remember. I told you that's how I got my 2,000 points of Eldar
yeah.
for
So
like
I might do the same to
$200.
get some, yeah, to be able to get a few more models that I want. Plus, then I might have some Stormcast. I either might sell them to someone to make my money back, or I just slowly start painting them up because some of the schemes, as long as I don't do the gold, I like it. I just don't want to do the gold.
Yep.
I like the
All
gold.
right.
So that's our deep, and then I'll let you take the next thing because I know you're very excited about this boy.
Wait for
This
Aeronautica.
man. No.
Oh, 30. Oh, because it's out of order. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
No, wasn't even looking at my notes.
I don't even want to talk about him because I just break out into like sheer adulation. So, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend has finally arrived.
The
Uh,
Thunderbolts.
the Khan himself, the Warhawk, the Warhawk of Shogoris. Oh my God, Jagatai Klan. Jesus Christ. So I'm going to put the criticism out there first, and then I'm just going to gush over the model.
Okay.
Okay, so the
What's
criticism,
the
I'm going to
what's
put
the criticism?
the
Criticism of the
criticism is
model?
the yes. I'm going to put the criticism
All
out
right.
first, and then I'm just going to gush endlessly over this model. The
Okay.
criticism is this pose has been done before. It's the Vulcan pose, which has the
It's a
one
very
hand up with the other.
standard pose.
Yes, the Vulcan has this, and I think not Fulgrim because Fulgrim is like dancing because it's Fulgrim. I think Vulcan has this, and someone else I can't remember has. It's a very standard Primarch pose. So people were expecting like, and I guess the other criticism is he doesn't have a bike, but
I
that
was
criticism
surprised
has an
by
answer
that.
to it. So so I'm gonna okay, you're gonna laugh at this. So first of all, it does have a last Primarch, but the little asterisk says that there's two more, right?
You'll never see.
Or yeah, two no, but the idea here is that two more people is him with the bike, right? And a demonized version of Horus is the two releases.
Okay.
Or the Emperor, which would be interesting. Oh my God, if they released the Emperor, oh my God.
I don't know if
With
they
my
will.
Custodies force, I
Actually, at
would
some point they might, but
yeah, we just Dave, come on with my Custodies, bro. Could you imagine? Literally just explode.
how do you
Um,
give rules to
so
the?
it wasn't
It's gotta be tough to give
you
rules to the
don't.
Emperor, though.
So here's remember I don't want to spoil the story, but the Emperor is not as powerful as uh, hmm,
That
that's
sounds
he's not as
awfully close to
powerful
heresy. Right there,
as a
what you're
Custodies
saying.
player. It's the books are great. I by the way, side note for people who listen, read the books, please. Just read the books. It's like there's 80 books, and now they're doing the
Oh
Siege of
God.
Terror, which will be well, yeah, you don't read all of them. You could kind of skip a couple here and there. But now they're doing the Siege of Terror books. So if you haven't even read the other 80 books, just start the Siege of Terror. The Siege of Terror books are the pinnacle of I have never been before actually sat down and read a book from front to cover before in a long time since I was a kid, and I'm doing it as an adult. That it's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. So now that I've gotten the 1/2 criticisms out of the way, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just, okay, where do I start? Okay, the blade, the Dow.
Okay.
Just, oh, like it's simplistic, but it's got the little hooks in there. You can see the little bolt. You can see the skull on the bottom, the slight curve. You could stop me at any time, by the way. Toss in
No,
whatever you see.
that's all right.
Yeah.
He's got like a
Because
scimitar
I
blade.
will. Yeah, it's a Tao. It's a China. It's because he's supposed to be Mongolian, so it's a Tao.
Yeah.
And
Okay, it's a down.
there's
All
the
right.
history. Yeah, there's the history teacher in me. And then like just okay, so like the whole model, the ornation, right? Like
Mhm.
the filigree, the Mongolian heads on the knee pads, the eagle on just the upper thighs. I mean, this also is credit to the person who painted this monstrous model. But even if you look at
Oh
like
yeah.
the backpack, that stupid like Mongolian style um, tile work on the cape and on the backpack, and even you could see the wires into the backpack, the Fifth Legion emblazoned on the backpack. Um,
Mm.
the gloves, the scabbard, and then I didn't even notice this until like yesterday when I was looking at it yet again because I didn't even the little samurai, the little I shouldn't say samurai, but the little the plate mail, the little tiny leather plate mail as the side pieces on his legs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Reminiscent of what?
they went very hard with the theme. They really did. Even his chest has that look to it. If you look underneath some of the
Yeah, I didn't even.
his
Oh,
lion
what? I didn't even
pendant
notice
and
that.
all. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, the fur-lined coat, and I was gonna say, so a lot of people used to use for the con, they use the third-party model, which I'm not gonna, because it's a third party and it's also not correct. But what
Mhm.
they would do is they would kind of freestyle on the cloak, and now I
Mm.
can see the cloak, and I cannot wait to see what people do with this model. Um, I mean, just I am. I, I
No, it is a very good looking model. It has,
yeah,
I mean, I personally would not want to paint it because of all the little bits to it and all of that. But this is a labor of love style model. You've got to want to paint it, and you got to want to be able to spend hours upon hours working on it. But it is very nice
yeah,
looking.
yeah.
It really is.
It is. This is. And again, whoever painted this, just a round of applause because. I mean, I'm not even looking at the base. I don't care about the death guard on the base. I don't care about the base itself. Just the
Yeah.
model itself is such a. I didn't even the backpack. I didn't even notice it's the old Mark One backpack. Like
Yep.
that backpack is the Mark One. Just oh my god. Just
I like the pistol under what would be his right arm. It kind of looks like an old. They're trying to make it look like an old sort of flintlock pistol.
yeah.
Just
It's an
tucked underneath
architect
there.
actually. So it's an architect pistol, if I'm not mistaken. Architect pistols
Okay,
are like lost. It's lost technology. It basically
got it.
shoots a laser beam. Um, and a little side note, because I know you so see the Warhawk book, right? It's a little
Yeah.
side note, and people have been theorizing this. So I know I mentioned a couple podcasts ago that there was a leak about a new box set for 30K, right?
Mm.
Where it comes with the joke is it comes with a plastic Spartan. Guys, it won't. Don't it will
Nope.
not. But it
It
came
never
with
will.
like, they've had Horus Heresy box sets before. And a lot of people are theorizing that's the new box set, and possibly new rules. Another theory that's been thrown around is because we're in the Siege of Terror, we're going to see a re-release of later Primarchs, which I disagree with because, in my opinion, Demon Primarchs are already done, like 40K, right? You have
Yeah.
Mortarion, Magnus. Those are, but what some people are pointing to, especially in the Warhawk book, if you notice, there's Mortarion. That is not the Mortarion model that Forge World produces. And that's not the Forge World. That's not the Games Workshop model of Mortarion. That's a
Hmm.
in between. That's him demonized in Terra. So not full fledged demon, but not old school Mortarion. Um, so a lot of people are theorizing that maybe they'll be doing new demon models or corrupted models. But that's more of a that's. But look at the Warhawk.
Yeah.
But look at the Khan. Oh my god. Oh man. Okay, so I did say I was going to make you laugh.
All
And I
right.
did say, okay. So the
I enjoy a good
reason,
joke.
this is not a good joke. It's a good joke, but it's also heartbreaking. So
All
I
right.
love White Scars, and
All right.
I would start a 30K White Scar army. You cannot take Khan in the White Scars
Wait. Why?
because rules is written when they did the rules. The con the, every legion. So I mentioned this before with 30K. You know how I told you they have like special legio like rules, right? So I can do an armored spearhead, or I can do a
Can they not take people on
something
foot?
else. Well, hold on. So every legion has a special legio type. They have two special types things. So for example, Sons of Horus have have I forgot what their names. I don't play Sons of Horus, but basically they could take their Justerian Terminators as troops, which is insane, right? Or they could take Terminators as troops, whatever. White Scars. White Scars have a special thing, which basically says your HQ has to be on a bike, and all your troops have to be on bikes, right? And then it unlocks certain bonuses. So basically, you get hit and run, which is amazing, right? Hit and run is amazing
Hmm.
in this game. But your HQ has to be on a bike. The Khan does not ride a bike.
It is not.
So rules is written. Khan cannot even be taken in his own right of war.
They're going to
Which
update the rules then, and they're going to be like, yeah,
absolutely,
no,
yeah.
it's fine. They got to.
Because they haven't FAQ'd it either. And I'll be honest again, 30K guys, we don't care. Bring the freaking Khan. It's Khan. Who the hell's gonna care?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the joke that Khan cannot literally be taken in his own specialized right of war, which is so dumb.
They wrote it, and then it was, they came out with those rules, and then like 3 years later, the model was finally like brought out or something like that. It's just been so
Yeah.
long, it didn't matter.
Oh yeah, because they have Talons of the Emperor they have the Talons of the Emperor in there as well
Mhm.
for my rules, and they don't have the Sisters of Silence in there.
Yeah,
So that's so that's why. Yeah, so that was
that
War.
was
Oh
for
God,
yeah, it was Warhammer Day. That was they came out with a lot of things, a bit for everyone, which I think is nice. Obviously, I would have liked concentration more on the things that I care about, but that's fine. Everyone got a little bit of something, which is good.
yeah,
And they're supporting their box games, which I'm happy to see. I always have a concern of, do they have too many of these little games? Are they kind
yeah.
of spreading a little too thin? But so
Seems
far
like
it seems
it's
fine.
working, and
Yeah.
remember, they're not Spartan games. They're a much larger contender in the battlefield. Now, I
Yes.
know you mentioned box games. I do want to point
Yes.
out that even though this wasn't in Warhammer Day, pre-orders for other things that were not announced went up.
Yes.
So we could talk about that because this is really interesting because it's so funny that Warhammer Day was such an amazing, awesome time.
Mhm.
And on top of it, they also released other things.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, so let's talk about that because this has to do with Warhammer Day, not Warhammer Day, but this is also interesting in itself. So I mean, go ahead.
All right.
Which one do you want to start with?
So, the shorter one's probably Aeronautica, so let's talk about that. Now, you
Yeah,
shared this picture, and that's the pic. Is that the Thunderhawk or the Storm
that's the
Eagle in that
Thunderhawk.
picture?
That's the
Okay.
Thunderhawk. That is the Thunderhawk.
So, you got to take a look at this picture. You got to find it somewhere. I'll maybe I'll try to put a file in the show notes so people can see this, because this thing is taller than the Reaver Titan for Titanicus,
So
which is like a near 8-inch tall model, mind you, between 7 and 8 inches, depending on how you model it. So we're talking about between 8 to 9 inch model. And do you know the scale for Aeronautica?
it's 8 millimeter. It's the same as Titanicus.
Okay, so 8 millimeter is so. If it's the same scale, is a Thunderhawk supposed to be as big as a Titan?
Yes, yes, it is.
They're that
A
big.
thunder. If you no, again, I don't know anyone on Google. I tried Google Images. I see people who own Reavers, and I see people who own Thunderhawks. No one has ever taken the Thunderhawk and compared it to the Reaver. But if you take the two measurements, the Thunderhawk is as long as the Reaver is tall, a little bit taller. But again, because the Thunderhawk is horizontal and the Reaver is vertical, no one ever does that comparison. You know,
Yeah, because
so
I know
yeah,
it's a small. It's an overall a small scale models when you look at the other models. I thought, at least. Now I'm curious
it
to see
looks
like
small.
the tiger sharks, or all those. Are those
Oh,
huge?
tiger sharks are massive. Yeah. Well, tiger sharks, I think in let me see. How big is a tiger shark normally? So the problem is, oh my god. Okay, that thing has to be massive then. Oh, is that a manta? No, that's a tiger shark, isn't it? Is that a tiger shark? Holy crap, that thing is huge.
Yeah, but I mean,
I thought
even an Aeronautica scale, like
now I
how
kind of want
how
to see.
big
Yeah,
are some
hold
of
on.
these models?
Tiger shark aeronautica. No, Jesus Christ.
Learn to spell.
Aeronautica is not a word. I'm allowed. Yeah. Yeah, tiger shark's actually pretty big, Dave.
You got to
That thing
get
is
good with
actually
your GWisms.
yeah. No, that model is actually massive, Dave.
Okay.
Um,
I
Jesus.
must
Yeah,
not have
no.
seen it. The
So
old ones I've seen were all honestly kind of small.
no,
The,
that's how
the, the
big a
ones
tiger
that I've
shark.
seen.
That's how big a tiger shark is in the tabletop. So the thing is, the hard part is you have to like compare it to, or is that a barracuda? That's a barracuda. Sorry, I'm an idiot. There's the tiger shark. Yeah, the problem is you have to compare it to like. It's so hard sometimes because you got to compare it to like the 40K variant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you put a tiger shark next to like you know what else is a big model? Here, the people don't even realize this. I don't do they even first of all do they make this model? Hold on. Um I don't even know if they make this model anymore, Dave. But they used to make a flyer for the Imperial Guard. You see, I'm just looking at flyers real quick. Oh, they don't make it anymore. I think it
Which
was
flyer are
called
you
the
talking about?
Marauder. It was called the Marauder Bomber.
Okay, yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't
I
make
know what
many.
you're talking about.
That model is massive. Like it's insanely large. Um, and so like some people don't realize how big some of these models are. So I guess when you scale them down, because Aeronautica is the same size as Titanicus, right? If I
Yeah.
take an 8 mm Space Marine and I put it next to the Thunderhawk, that's how big it is normally on the tabletop. Which is just again, it's insanity.
I'll post it in the Discord now. I found
Yeah.
it shows up the picture there. It shows the picture for the Aldari ones, and you can see just the overall difference in size. I didn't realize their models got that big
Let me see.
for Aeronautica. Those are big models.
Let me see Belvos. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, you can see in the little
Oh
picture it
yeah, those are
popped
big.
up.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, those are big.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that
I
base, the funny part is, so we're used to like 25 mm bases. Those bases are not 25 mm bases. Those are like 40, 50 mil size bases. Like, have you ever seen an
okay. So yeah,
aeronautica
those are
base?
pretty big bases then. Yeah,
Yeah, those are big boy fat bases. Um, yeah, no, that model is massive. It's just I was, and I'm like, oh, $40 for a Thunderhawk, why? And then I saw that picture, and I'm like, that is. And then I got mad because it got sold out. Because I did want to, I
yeah.
kind of wanted to purchase one and paint it just for the hell of it. I kind of
It's
wish
another
Custodies
game
could take
where
Thunderhawks.
somewhere there's probably people playing this game. If you are a person who's playing
Yes,
this game, tell us because I don't think I know
yes,
anyone who
please,
does. You
yes,
know,
please tell us because it does actually like I do want to know.
and it's probably I'll put it that way, it's probably a fun and fine game.
It
Just
is. I've
too much
played it.
going
I've
on.
actually played it. I have
Okay.
played. I mean, I don't own an army for it, but I have played it. It is fun. I will point out. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of I don't want to say BattleTech because then I'm sure that someone will come to my house and shoot me. Um, But no, like it's hex combat, so it is very battle techy, where you have to kind of
Mm,
position your models just right and use that, the flying maneuvers and everything. I will point out too, little side note, Storm Eagles and Fire Raptors are some of my all-time favorite flying models that GW has ever produced, or I guess Forge World has ever produced.
mm,
Um, I absolutely love Storm Eagles. I absolutely love Fire Raptors. Those are my two favorite flyers, pretty much of all time period that
mm.
GW has ever Forge World has ever produced. And I'm so happy to see them in like mini form because they're just so cute. So cute with the little ball turrets. You see that little pew pew pew.
Like I'll try
But no,
Warcry. I'd like to try that out. Aeronautica just
yeah,
it doesn't do anything for me.
no. Well, I would never. Yeah, I'm not going to buy. I would just, like I said, I would buy the Thunderhawk just to have
Yeah,
a plastic Thunderhawk to paint
yeah. Closest
and
you'll
put
ever
it up
get.
on like the shelf and just kind of exactly. But that was Aeronautica, and then
Yeah.
Titanicus.
Yep. I got a
Actually, wait,
few
before we go to Titanicus,
pre-orders. Yeah.
Yeah, before Titanicus, I do. Forge World
Mhm.
does have one pre-order, which is I know you were talking about faces, I know,
Yeah.
but it's Remus Ventanis, the Ultramarine himself, the bearer of the Macragian banner. I love
McCraggian.
his helmeted version. McCraggy, I know. He's got an excellent helmet. His model actually looks pretty damn cool. I love the banner. And you know what? The helmetless version doesn't exist. He can't hurt me if I don't think he exists. So that's that.
His face looks fine. He has a very, you know, standard sort of Roman style chiseled looking features. He's fine.
Uh, yeah.
His
But I just
helmet
want to point out that was
his helmet
go
one's
ahead, go ahead.
not as good. I don't like his helmet one as much. I like him with his actual face
Really,
out.
I like the Roman helmet. It does. I love that kind of Roman helmet. But so that's a really cool. So now Titanicus.
Yeah.
Oh boy, take it
So
away.
yep. So we both play Trader Legions. So they went on pre-order this week. I think coming out is it actually supposed to come out next week?
I don't know. I think it is. I already
Okay.
pre-ordered the
Trader book.
Trader Legion's book.
Yep.
I also ordered some transfer sheets because I had the credit from Warhammer Plus when I
Okay.
subscribed. So I'd like the $20 credit. So I just used that towards the purchase.
Mm.
Because
So
I
they
want to
finally are
use some of
doing
the
the
Legion of
Trader Legion
Furies.
book.
Yes.
And because how long ago
Which
did they do the other book?
it was only 4 months ago.
Oh, really? Okay. That's
Yeah, it was only
that's
4 or
not.
5 months. Yeah, no, it wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago. But I do like they're coming out with a trader book because the Loyalist book was really good. The Loyalist book was
Yeah.
really, 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 really good. Condensed all the stratagems, it fixed all the legios, and it did fix. That's a key point there because a lot of legios were completely useless for the Loyalists,
Mm.
and they tuned down some of the harsher ones and tuned up some of the nicer ones. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with like Krytos. No one takes Krytos because they're useless. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
They destroy some
So
terrain. It
I'm
does not
really
matter.
excited. Yeah, so I'm really excited. So that's the book.
We'll do a review of that once it
And
actually comes out. We'll go through the legions.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. So that
Yeah.
one I could speak about in length. And then
Agreed.
we have the Iconoclast. Let's talk about it.
All right.
Go ahead.
So this is the melee version of the War Master. What is I'm sure they give it crazy names for his weapons. What do they even call his weapons on this
Let me
bad
see
boy?
here. I could probably zoom in on here. Let's see here. The Desolator Chainsword
Okay,
and
Desolator
the.
Chainsword. That's what it
I'm
is.
trying to find the other one. I can't see what the other one is. Sadly, Big Boy Crunchy Fist is what I'm going to go with. Yeah, I have no idea what the other one is.
A
It's probably
Crucis
somewhere in
or
Warhammer.
Crisis Siege Drill or Crisis Grab
Jesus.
Imploder.
Okay.
So those are
Okay.
that's what he's armed with.
Okay,
What is
GW.
the move on this guy? Like a 4?
4. 4, 6.
Yeah. Don't I
So
I
okay.
have
So
melee options for my my
yeah.
other ones that move 4, and that don't work well.
So little slight notes. Because I
Warlords.
was discussing this with the 30K guys who also play Titanicus. First of all,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the missile launcher on the top. He has a heavier version of the Gatling gun. So
Okay.
most
It's
likely
not
he
bad.
has a Gatling gun on top, which is the 12 shot strength 7 ordnance, right? Which is not
Yeah.
bad. Okay, so that's a good. He also remember has the shoulder guns. I don't know why he's
Mhm.
armed with flamethrowers in this. Why give him
For close
flamethrowers?
combat.
Anyway, whatever. So I would have given him like mega bolters or something just to strip. Oh, I guess he's close combat, so ignore shield. So maybe some like um, with the turbo lasers or something. But so here's the thing: traders. Uh, traders have a lot of different stratagems. I'm not gonna call them stratagems. Ignore what I said just there. What are they called? Tips and tactics? Oh no, I'm like the name is missing me. What were they? What were they called? What did you stratagem points? Right?
Yeah, you
Am
get
I correct
strategy
in that?
points in the game. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
was
you get
right. Oh,
the
so
strategy points.
the thing. So loyalists don't have access to the stave, but a lot of trader stratagems involve finagling movement. So you know
Yes, they
what
do.
my favorite one is. My
Yeah,
favorite
the
one is
one
the
you get the
warp
jump.
jump. Yeah, the
Hmm.
warp jump for 2d6, and hopefully don't land in terrain. And you can do that at any point. So you can like warp jump then charge, which is great. But a lot of trader things can upgrade their movement at the cost of like burning some of their shield. Who cares? Or they can teleport, like I just said, or they can. I think there's one that if you get hit, you move forward, right? Because you're so
Okay.
angry all the time.
Mhm.
So there are ways to get into melee more so as a trader than a loyalist. Does that justify a fully melee
Nope.
Titan? No.
No.
And that's sad. I was just kidding. No. If this was a
So
Reaver, sure.
yes, Reaver you can because Reaver's 6'9" for movement. You can get there. So this boy he comes with he has his Desolator Chainsword. He's got I guess it's Creus Siege Drill that can also be made as a Grav Imploder. He has one Carapace mounted Crusader Gatling array. That's the guns on
So what
top.
is that? Does it give you
It
the stats or no?
no, this is just on the product description for now.
Yeah. Okay,
And he has a
that's fine. That's fine. That's
choice.
fine.
So choice wise, he can get Apocalypse Missile Array, Plasma Blast Gun, Turbo Laser Destructor, Inferno Gun,
Those are the
Melta
shoulder
Cannon, or
guns. Yeah.
Vulcan
Yeah.
Mega Bolter for the 2 shoulder hardpoints. So essentially, he can take
Yep.
any weapons on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He's
And you
got
can
all of
mix
them.
and match, by the way. You can take one plasma bass gun, one Vulcan Mega Bolter on the other. It's up to you.
Yeah, but no,
Um
for right now, they haven't said they haven't given the rules for that. Not that I've seen. It might have been leaked
Now,
somewhere, but I don't have them.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Ooh, actually, maybe did they
If
list
I
it
could,
here? Go ahead. I'm looking to see if I can find the
maybe.
rules.
Okay. If I could mix and match loadouts, like maybe take the siege drill and then a plasma, then we're talking. You know what I mean? Because then the siege drill can be used against, incoming Imperial Knights or maybe a Reaver that got a little plucky with me. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
a double melee bigger than Warlord Titan, no, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. Like I said, if I
Yeah.
can give him a plasma gun and a melee, then we're talking news. We got some good stuff. But because even the double plasma, the problem I have is if someone comes up close, what am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I wish I had a claw because they're so slow. Someone's going to get up close and punch me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping. This is so here's the problem. Fluff wise, the Iconoclast was a melee battle titan. It was a siege battle titan.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that maybe they ignore the fluff a little bit and maybe allow it to be customized arm wise. I'm hoping, but
Well, I mean, you got left and
I
right
don't know.
arms. The only difference between the Iconoclast for the War Master and the other one is the weapons, really. So this is the
Yeah,
same thing they did with
it's the
Warlords.
arm. That's
Yeah,
it.
you
It's
can
the
you
arm,
could
and then
put
the central is the central.
yeah, you could put whatever weapons you want on him. It doesn't matter. It just depends on which ones you want. But this boy also starts at 850 points
No,
without his
no,
weapons.
it doesn't. No, I was just to say it's 1,010 for the cheapest option.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
At
looking
least
at.
that's
Yeah,
what it is for
for
the.
the Iconoclast, he's listed as 850 plus weapons. So yeah, we don't know the cost of his weapons. I don't have those in front of me. But yeah, when it's all said and done, yeah, he's probably going to be 1,000 plus points easily.
And honestly, if I'm going to spend 1,000 plus points on a mech, I'll take the gun one because those
Yes.
plasma cannons aren't insane. Like,
Yeah.
why would I spend? Yeah. It's a cool. Listen, is it a cool model? Yes. Is it a wonderful piece on the tabletop? Also, yes. Would I ever
Yeah.
use it?
No, not
Nope.
for the current way they do the mission structure and all.
Exactly.
But it's nice that they give the option. And you know what? Maybe they put something in that book that either helps them out. But I'm still
Exactly. Like
going
I
to
said,
delay getting any of them.
sadly doesn't look like it because I'm looking at the codex right now and they have like little previews and stuff, and it
Yeah.
looks like it's just Iconoclast is your typical. Although you know what they didn't release, like its special rules. So maybe it like boosts its movement up to 8. Like I said, if it can boost its movement up to 8 for like 2 heat, you know, now we're talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Big boy can move 8 inches and also teleport. You know what I mean? Now we're talking. But like I said, it I don't know. So it's a hard no for me, dog. It's a hard no for me.
Agreed. I'm a no as
For
well.
now. For
But
now.
when the book comes out and when the models comes out, we'll go over it and we'll discuss it in a bit more detail and we'll see what's really going on
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I
All right.
think that hits all the news. I think that's all of it.
I mean, there are
I,
some leaks, such as
I
like
say
Tau is
facetiously.
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tau is coming out in January. That's pretty.
Hmm.
And the guy who keeps doing these leaks, we don't know who the hell this guy is, but he's been like 10 for 10 so far. Absolutely insane. So he said
Yeah.
Tau leaks in January and very interesting with a new model and a redesigned model. And the Tau Codex is looking like it's really balanced. Because, the big problem with Tau is
Good.
how, they can shoot someone off the objective, but then how do you get to the, actual objective? So they're
Yeah.
talking about like melee crisis suits or maybe durability. So that's interesting. But yeah, no, that's
It's
that took
plenty.
us. Oh my god, that
It
took us a while. Yeah,
took us just about the actually over the normal length of an episode to do all of that.
yeah,
So we will call it there.
yeah.
Next time
That's a
we will
good place to
discuss some
call
of
it.
the other things. Actually, next time if we have the trader book in hand, we might just go through that. I think that would be
Oh yeah, definitely.
that'll be
I
a good
pre-ordered it,
thing to
so that'll be
discuss.
it.
Yeah, if Maplewood gets copies in, then I will have a copy immediately. If they don't have it, then I'll just get one. I'll get one later, or I'll find some way that we kind of review it and all. But I think that'll do it for the night.
I
So
think that listen, that was a lot.
yeah, yeah. I think that's plenty for the night. I don't think we need anything more than that. So
No,
as
that was
always,
enough.
I always like to thank everyone for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that you'd like to get to us, the email is trainkickersnj@gmail.com. You can also find us on our different social media things. I'll probably put some social media thing together for the show at some point. I just don't have that yet. We'll see if we ever get popular, and then I'll start throwing all that stuff together. Please tell your friends. Please share, like, review, all that kind of stuff. Everything like that helps out and makes it feel all the more worthwhile for doing this. So at this point, we'll go ahead and sign off.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah. Everyone have a good one. Keep getting painted those models, and we will see everyone next time.